Hare Krishna Prabhujis and Matajis, Dandavat Pranam. I welcome to the second session, which is about Chapter 2, Bhagavadgita, which is nothing but Gita summarized. So I think there are a lot of counts, a lot of Prabhujis and Matajis are not come, I believe. Prabhuji has gone there, right? Okay. Do you recollect what we have discussed in the chapter 1? What are the 4 lessons? We have bifurcated every first chapter into 4 lessons. Anyone remembers what is the first lesson in the first chapter? First one is, theoretically we need to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That was the first lesson what we have seen in the chapter 1. And second one is about where Krishna is there is always a victory. Or wherever Krishna is there is always a victory. That was the second lesson in the chapter 1. And third lesson is already the signs of victory. What were the signs of victory shown where Pandavas are there? So we have discussed in that what are the significance. What are the signs of victory for Pandavas is the place itself, Kurukshetra. It has a historical significance that it is a Punya Bhumi, and lot of rishis and acharyas have done penance there, and lot of dharmic activities were done in that place. So it has a historical significance about that place itself. So like that there are so many victory signs for Pandavas themselves even before the war has started. That was the third one. We have third lesson among the first chapter. And fourth one was, what were the reasons for why Arjuna has kept the bow aside? What were the reasons? Any idea? Any guesses? As I told, it's not a one-side batting. Batting and bowling should happen parallelly. So it should be more like an interactive session. So kindly request everyone to, even if it is wrong also, that's okay. But we need to, tell why Arjuna has put the arrow and bow aside. What were the reasons? Pardon? One is, even if he is victorious, whom he will rule. That was the first point why he has kept the bow down. What are the other reasons? There are from 4 to 5 reasons. One reason is, as Prabhuji mentioned, whom he will enjoy after winning the war. That is the first one. What about the second one? Sinful reaction. He was afraid of sinful reactions. Even if we do the war, we will be, he will get sinful reactions. That is one more reason for why he kept the bow and arrow aside. What about the other 3 reasons? What were the other 3 reasons? 2 already you covered. What are the other 3 reasons? Compassion for his friends and relatives, because there are friends and relatives who are there even at both the sides. Both the sides there are. So he was not only compassionate about the soldiers or the friends or relatives who are there at his side, but also he was compassionate about the other side also. So basically the pure devotee where he is always compassionate about others. Everyone he was compassionate about. So that was another reason why, Okay, so he was compassionate about both the parties. That was the fourth reason. What about the fifth reason? What were the already only 3 we have mentioned. What about the fourth and fifth reason? Family traditions and family culture would be lost, because if a man is not there in a home, I think there is no need to specify that this particular phenomenon is existing only at that period. Even now also, when a fatherly figure is not there in a family, always family would be in a kind of a stress. Will you agree or not? Right? So when a man or a fatherhood figure is not there in a family, it's always a unnecessarily we are inviting tension or stress is there. So that's what he was talking about. So family traditions would be lost if elders are not there in the family. That was the fourth reason why he has kept it. And what is the fifth reason? Fifth reason was indecision. He was not able to take a decision. on what to do, what I am doing is right or not, and all. He was having a lot of indecision, lot of commotion happening in his mind. Okay, that was the fifth reason. Now coming to today's Arjuna cast his bow and arrow aside. So qualification for enlightenment. I think that was the one which we have ended with. Okay. How many of you were there? I think last time, the first session. Okay. I think I don't know whether the reason for accepting this garland. I think I didn't tell you. This is not for glorifying me. This garland is not given to me. This is I am accepting on behalf of the acharyas who are present there. Whatever the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya is there, or Srila Prabhupada and all the great acharyas, on behalf of them I am accepting. That's it. I am simply here. I am like a Xerox machine. There is nothing a knowledge which I am myself owning it. It's all mentioned in the scriptures and written by great acharyas. So on behalf of them I am accepting this garland. It's not for glorifying myself. Okay, so the last shloka, or the relation between the first chapter and second chapter, is this. So qualification for enlightenment. So only a kind, soft-hearted and non-violent person like Arjuna is fit to receive the self-knowledge. Kind-hearted, soft-hearted, especially they are eligible for receiving the spiritual knowledge. It's not only applicable then, it is also applicable now. There are so many people who might have done PhDs. Materially they might be in a very great situation, but coming to spiritual knowledge, if they are not having a kind heart or a soft heart to receive, they will not. How many ever books he can read, he will not understand. Only Bhagavadgita he will not understand. He can material skills or material books he can master it, but Bhagavadgita, that's why it is called Rahasyam. Krishna himself says it is Rahasyam. What kind of a Rahasyam, right? Even if the book is in front of you, but if you are not surrendering, you will not understand. If you are not surrendering to the Guru, you will not understand. So that is the greatness of Bhagavad Gita. So that's what the qualification of enlightenment. Only a kind and soft-hearted, non-violent person like Arjuna is fit to receive the self-knowledge. Okay. So connection between chapter 1 and chapter 2 is this only. Like in the previous chapter, Sanjaya concluded that Arjuna was not inclined to fight. That made Dhritarashtra joyful that Pandavas would be renouncing the kingdom. He was happy. Yes, Pandavas are going to quit now. Now we will rule the kingdom. So that was the happiness, or it was going inside the Dhritarashtra. So in this chapter, Sanjaya, seeing Dhritarashtra hopeful of not losing the kingdom for his sons, began to describe how Krishna inspired the బూడిదలో పోసిన పన్నీర్ అంటారు చూసారా, ఒకసారి లెగంగానే స్థన్నమని అగ్గి లేగంగానే మనం whatever we sprinkle water, like that the joy has been only temporary for Dhritarashtra. One moment he thought that Pandavas would be quitting the war and the kingdom would be us. Immediately Sanjaya gives a bad news that I think Krishna is inspiring Arjuna now. Have you been in that situation anytime? Yesterday I was there in that situation. In shloka test, one of Prabhuji's mentioned that there are all the shlokas will not be asked, only temporarily they will be asking. I mean, only selective shlokas would be asking. But unfortunately, that enjoyment mood was there for me only for 2 minutes. Immediately he sent out a message saying that all the 13 shlokas would be asked. Actually, I was writing a Bhakti Shastri exam, final exam was there yesterday. So it is something like that, you feel that I am almost winning the game. But suddenly something comes up and Krishna is ready to inspire Arjuna. So that's the bad news what Sanjaya gives to Dhritarashtra. So that's where our hero, our supreme father, first time, in detail starts opening his mouth and telling. It is something similar to just a material comparison, if we can say. When in a movie, if a hero comes, right, when the hero enters first leg, this thing, they will clap. So like that, in this chapter, Krishna starts his mouth and opens his mouth and starts giving the Bhagavad Gita message. So again, as we divided the first chapter into 4 lessons, this second chapter also we are going to divide into 4 lessons. And that 4 lessons easy to remember is Gita, Gita. G means Guru. I means identity. Who am I? Is the identity. T means what is the two swadharmas, what as a living entity we need to perform. Two, one is material swadharma, other is spiritual swadharma. So that is the two dharmas what we need to follow. That is T. A means Atmaram, self-satisfied. How a person who is self-satisfied behaves. Generally, people have a notion that only the people who are wearing, kashaya vastra, they are Atmarams. No, even Grihasthas also can become Atmarams, like Arjuna. Arjuna is also Grihastha, right? Yeah. So we need to understand. So this is the 4 chapters. Again, second chapter is divided into 4 lessons. One is, now we are going to discuss about the first lesson. That is Guru, absolute need for spiritual guide. Prabhujis and Matajis, don't take this Guru word lightly. Instead of cheaply, it is lightly. Because for gaining material skills, also we need Guru. Yes or no? Right? For gaining material skills also, we need Guru. So like that, Lord Krishna actually chastises Arjuna on what he says that from where this impotency behavior has come on to you. You are such a great warrior. You have defeated Lord Shiva. You got the throne of Indra. Your Guru Drona has appreciated you as the best student in the entire Gurukul. Why this impotency thinking has come on to you? So he chastises Arjuna like that, and it will by having that much wonderful credits with you, it will simply defame you by thinking this important way. For the reasons for why he has kept bow down and all, Krishna tells him, ekkadi nunchi ochindaya neeku idantha. How many of you don't know Telugu? You don't. Okay, yeah, that's it. So the thing is, from where this impotency has come forward to you, despite you are having such a great background. So he talks about that only, and he also mentioned that don't think it's a war between Pandavas and Kauravas. Don't think it's a war between Pandavas and Kauravas. Think that it is a war between Dharma and Adharma. There are people who are following Adharma, and you are at a receiving end, and due to whatever the Adharma performed by opposite party, you have faced lot of insults. And you should think of a war like between Dharma and Adharma, not as between Pandavas and Kauravas. Because there are a lot of kings who have taken the side of Adharma, and there are a lot of virtuous kings who have taken the side of Pandavas and Krishna as well. So we need to understand that. So you need to slowly, he is building up the platform to Arjuna to wake up and fight the war. So he is inspiring Arjuna on that. So like that, all virtuous kings were there at the side of him, and he himself being the Krishna himself being the father of Dharma. He is the father of Dharma. Do you agree or not? Okay, yeah. So Krishna himself is the father of Dharma. So he himself, God himself, is presiding this war. So we need to understand the importance of it. And God himself is at the side of Krishna. So being a commander-in-chief, if a CEO himself becomes demotivated, how can a company work? Right? So similarly, if he is inspiring Krishna, he is inspiring Arjuna, saying that Arjuna, you are a commander-in-chief for the Pandavas army. So you are supposed to encourage your army. If you yourself are getting demotivated, then how your soldiers would be fighting? Being in a leadership role, you are not supposed to get demotivated. Prabhuji and Mataji, the devotees who are working in IT companies, you also might have faced that kind of situation, right? Where you yourself are getting demotivated. How you can motivate your team, right? First of all, we take up a task. Before taking up a task, we should be 100% convinced, even before delegating it to the team. Once you are convinced, then you will be trying to inspire the team on what are the milestones we have given. The milestones are properly need to be achieved. So we discuss a lot and we motivate. But if we ourselves are demotivated, however much we try to encourage, it won't be giving a fruitful results. So that's what Krishna was talking about. In the meanwhile, even he was talking about duties of duties of Kshatriya as well. So duty of Kshatriya in the Parashara Smriti explains the duty of Kshatriya. That duty of Kshatriya is to protect the citizens from all difficulties. In whatever the kingdom a Kshatriya ruler is there, he is supposed to protect the citizens. That is the dharma of a Kshatriya. That's what he was telling, and applying violence for law and order. Even at that time, even law and order, for creating a law and order, punishment used to be given, because without punishment people won't listen, right? So there are instances without punishment people won't hear. Like that, the same thing is followed now also. When if a drunkard is there, police have to punish him. So the Kshatriya duty, we need to apply violence wherever required to maintaining the law and order. So all of that violence, all of us think that violence is not required, non-violence, but violence is required in some instances as well. For example, if someone is teasing your own family members when we are going out, or trying to unnecessarily tinker with the family members, then you have to be rude and you have to be violent and you have to hit them back. Do you agree or not? Will you stay calm? No, right? Yeah, like that, example I can quote of Srila Prabhupada. Once he was discussing with one Buddhist monk, one of the Buddhist monks, and he was going along with the Buddhist monk's disciples. So he was Srila Prabhupada was having a discussion with the Buddhist monk where he was propagating non-violence. We should never intend to be part of any violent activities. That's what he was saying. Then Srila Prabhupada asked that Buddhist monk, for example, your lady or Mataji or lady devotee is there, disciple is there of you, and someone is trying to tease or physically mishandle her, what will you do? Then Buddhist monk said that I will not do anything. I will not do anything. Then disciple, what Guruji, you will not do anything? That's not the case. So non-violence and violence, there is a correction. So non-violence and violence, we need to understand wherever it is required, we need to use violence. Use violence wherever it is required. So that's what even Krishna was trying to say, that applying violence wherever it is required. Okay. Sometimes as I said, sometimes government also apply. My dad is a deputy superintendent of police, retired deputy superintendent of police. When we were kids, there were a situation where we were going in a train and a drunkard in Vinukonda, he was, I am Kondaviti Shiva, I like that he was roaming around. Then immediately he has slapped tight in front of everyone. So in a duty of a police, he has to apply violence to maintain the law and order, because if you are not acting, he might disturb other people. So violence, we need to understand, is a Kshatriya part of his duty to maintain the law and order. So we need to understand that. So rule the world according to the religious principles. So it is and even he was asking Arjuna, was it a right thing for Duryodhana to disrobe a woman? So you need to understand, Arjuna, when whatever they did is not acceptable at all. Acceptable at all. Don't think, go raise your thinking beyond what you are thinking currently. That's what Krishna was trying to tell him. And one more question for Arjuna, what he was saying, that Matajis would become widows if all the soldiers are dead, who will be taking care of them? Then he says, don't worry, even after the war, even after the war, a king like Yudhishthira is coming to power, he will be giving the protection for all the entire kingdom. Entire kingdom he will be giving you protection. Don't worry that widows who will be taking care and all. So don't worry about that. That's what Krishna was saying. So Kshatriyas are never meant for directly accepting the order of sannyasa. And people, even if whether despite Kauravas are getting killed, always dharma should prevail. Dharma should prevail. That's what Krishna was trying to put that questions. And being a Kshatriya, they were supposed to see blood. They were tuned to see blood. And for that they used to go to forests and they used to fight with tigers and other animals who are disturbing the Rishi and Munish in the forest. And when they kill them, they were supposed to see the war that such that no one is getting fainted. I have seen personally a lot of my friends, once they see blood, they faint. Have you seen that kind of scenarios with your friends? Anyone? You okay? So Prabhuji himself is there. Okay, so some soft-hearted people or kind-hearted people, when they see blood, they are not comfortable or they faint also. But from the background where I come in, we are prone to seeing blood and all. I used to go to police station and see how, as a child, I used to, how you will beat this rowdy sheeters and all. I used to go to the jail and see how they used. That was as a child, that was a fantasy. How they hit, how they do and all. It's of course, a very silly fantasy, but I have seen them. And even before even coming to the Krishna consciousness, we used to play. I was a captain for my project in cricket team. So we used to play cricket, and I used to give a anthem or a logo. Whenever a cricket comes, blood padalsinde. Blood padtene, then that kick of playing and that maza would be there. That's what I used to do that 5 years ago. So we need to basically understand a point that Kshatriyas were tuned to see blood, such that they are able to fight a war ferociously. Okay, so that's what Krishna was trying to tell. And next one is training of Kshatriya. So trained for challenging and killing because religious violence is a necessary factor. Trained for challenging and killing because religious violence is a necessary factor. How they were trained? As I mentioned, they used to face the animals and all. So now coming to next, Arjuna's further doubts and confusion. How can I counter-attack in battle? Like, see, if I kill Bhishma and Drona, I would be called as Bhishma Sudana, Drona Sudana, Madhusudana. Who is Madhusudana? Krishna himself. Why that name has come? Why that name of Madhusudana has come? Yes. Let us give opportunity for the newcomers. I know, Prabhuji. Generally, Sudana means killing. So he killed the demon Madhu. So that's the reason why Krishna got the name as Madhusudana. Okay. Similarly, Arjuna was saying, if I kill Bhishma and Drona, I would be getting a bad name of Bhishma Sudana and Drona Sudana. So I don't want to take that name. Who are worthy of my worship. And even with the elders, Krishna, you were having your guru. Who was Krishna's guru? Who were Krishna's guru? What is the name of Krishna's guru? Who told? Yeah. Yes, mother. Give opportunity for this. Yes, you are right. Sandipani Muni. So, will you kill your guru, sir? Sandipani Muni? Will you kill your grandfather Ugrasena? Like that, Arjuna was reverse. Don't you think he is asking logically? Whatever Arjuna, the questions what he was posing, they were very logical, Prabhuji and Mataji's. Will you kill your guru Sandipan Muni? Will you kill your guru Ugrasena, who is your grandfather? Are you understanding my position? Like that, Arjuna was asking Krishna. Krishna was asking. So, better to leave. So, that's what he was saying. I will be called as, I am not supposed to even actually, I am not even supposed to have a verbal battle with them. Okay, Prabhuji, Sunil Prabhu, remind me at 11:30, okay? Yeah. Because it's a pretty big chapter, so I wanted to have a proper check. Okay, so even with these elders like Bhishma and Drona and elders in the war, I should not even have a verbal battle. Even now, kids, we tell our kids, right? My own son is there, Dhruv. One marriage was there 2 weeks ago where elders were teasing him for saying, Yentra Bhaga Tagyavu, Yentra Tagyavu, and they used to tease him. So he was feeling very bad. Why don't tell me health conscious? That is the reason why I am tugging and all, he was saying. Okay. So he was feeling bad. So we used to tell him. So elders, when they are telling, it's not chastising Dhruv. It's with a fun or something they will be telling, but you should not, in reverse, you should not have a verbal battle with them. So that's what I was saying to my kid. So like that, even Arjuna was saying, I'm not in a position to even have a verbal battle with elders like Bhishma and Drona. You are telling me to kill them. Is it justice? Is it logical? Like that, Arjuna was asking Krishna. Okay, so similarly, the next point is better to live by begging, bhiksham, than to kill such great souls. దానికంటే ఇంతటి పెద్దవాళ్ళని, ద ఎల్డర్స్ లైక్ దెమ్, ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ కిల్లింగ్ దెమ్, ఇట్స్ బెటర్ ఫర్ బెగ్గింగ్. ఈజ్ ఇట్ రైట్? బెగ్గింగ్, రైట్? Okay, so he was saying he will begging, but the thing is, he is kshatriya. Will it make him to beg? I don't know, you might have seen this movie Pokiri, right, where all the beggars will attack Brahmananda, but that blood, even if he goes for begging, there also he will be showing kshatriya quality. Come on, group, now they are not giving, or that other begging group is not properly allowing us to beg, we will beg, there also we will show kshatriya quality. So depending on the varna he belongs to, we need to act. Kshatriya, even if he likes to go and beg, he can't beg, there also will show kshatriya quality only. It's very difficult. Okay, so that's what, better to leave begging than to kill such great souls, he was saying. So similarly, however great they may be, sometimes I don't know which is better, conquering or being conquered. So Krishna was saying the same thing. However great they may be, if they are taking the side of adharma, we need to attack. We need to surely ensure whatever good it is. In the current life also, you might have seen a lot of your relatives or your own friends or some close blood relatives where there are cases running. Land, naka land raledu, I didn't get that land, so that land belongs to me. Your own people, you might have seen, right? It's going right. Whatever right, until unless we fight for our justice, nothing happens. So we need to take. That's what Krishna was trying to say. So Arjuna was confused totally. So should I dutifully fight and risk unnecessary violence, or should I refrain and live by begging? This shows his detachment. Victory is anyways not certain. Victory is also a defeat. We can't live happily after killing that many relatives. So Krishna was trying to say the same thing. Like all these people who are part of adharma or adharma side, they have directly or indirectly given pains to you, and being in a dharma side, you always should take this side and protect dharma. Just assume, Prabhuji and Mataji, that if Mahabharata war could not have happened, war didn't happen, but from that period itself, the women honor would have been at toss from that time itself, had the war not been happened. Since that war happened and women have been honored, and their honor are supposed to be kept. Just think about a situation. At that time no war has happened, and now there might be a situation in this Kali Yuga itself that anyone can. There are some situations like this in some places, Prabhuji and Mataji, in the world. Lucky that we are born in India. There are so many places in the country, in some places where if a woman is going out at 9 p.m, they simply pick up, take them. Do you believe or not? Yes or no? Yeah. So understand that we are born such a. So that's what Krishna was trying to tell the same thing to Arjuna. So idle kings like Yudhishthira are supposed to rule the kingdom. He is called Rajarshi. Yudhishthira is called Rajarshi. Why? Because he is a king, at the same time following all the religious principles. So always we should be in the shelter of a king like Yudhishthira. So don't worry about that. That's what Krishna was talking about. Okay, and should I conquer or conquered? He was saying victory is also defeat. Should I conquer or conquered means, see, despite having a war, you are only thinking from a point of bodily attachments. Na tata, na guru, my grandfather, my friends, my relatives. You are only thinking from a bodily level. That's what he was talking about. So we need to understand. So now at this juncture, he was in full confusion, and Arjuna requests Krishna to accept him as disciple. And then the famous verse like Karpanya dosh. Like, shall we chant together? This is the shloka, famous shloka. Okay, repeat after me. Okay, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava Prachami tvam dharma samudha cheta Yat shreyasham nishchitam bruhi tanme Shishyaste ham saddhimam tvam prapannam. So this is the shloka where he wanted to keep his intelligence mind aside and simply follow Krishna's instruction. This is the place, there he requests Krishna to accept him as his disciple. But Krishna says, how I can be your Guru, Arjuna? You are my friend. How you take the inputs from Vedavyas, take the suggestions from Vedavyas. He is a learned scholar. Take the guidance from Vedavyas or other acharyas who are there, who are supporting your kingdom. Take the inputs from them. No, I am your friend. How I will tell? That's what he talks about, Krishna. But Arjuna says, no, Krishna, you are the person who know me completely. As a friend, you know me completely, and you only would be able to, as you know me completely, you will be able to guide me properly. So with that acceptance, Arjuna requests him to accept him as his disciple. And and he also mentions that I can find no means to drive away this grief. Arjuna, the chastiser of enemies, then told Hrishikesha, Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. So that's the point wherein he completely surrenders. And Krishna, the basic point we need to understand, Prabhuji and Matajis, one is our acharyas like Srila Prabhupada says that these relatives and blood relatives and all are like skin diseases. I know it might be sounding very harsh. But why he is saying it is skin diseases? Generally, what happens is in this material world, you get protected by your family and you protect your family members. By doing this act of protection, we have a great sense of material security. Yes or no? When we protect our own people, when we protect our own kids, our own father and mother, and take care of them, we get a great sense of material security. I am not saying that you should not do that. I am not saying that you should not be protective about your family. But there are much higher goals than that a living entity should think of. That's what they say skin diseases. Because you are so much attached bodily. But we should do as a part of our duty. That's what we will discuss in the third lesson, that is about what are those swadharmas we will discuss about. But we need to understand that these relations, I myself, I still remember when I was a small kid of 4 or 5 years old, I was having when we go to village, we used to have a hut. We used to live in a hut. And then slowly, my dad and my uncle, they slowly got settled and all, and they slowly build a building in the village. Now we are having a one or two floored building we are having in a village. And slowly after, I have a great attachment to my grandma. Whenever we come, actually there are no buses from one place to reach to my village. So there is 2 kilometers distance where I need to walk. So my grandma would be working in fields. When we travel, first my and my sister used to run and go near the village, and we used to shout Jeja, Jeja, like that we used to shout. Such that somewhere in other fields she would be there, and Sinaya, like that she used to acknowledge my shouts when we initially come. So I used to love my grandma very much, and when in those 2 months of summer vacation, I always used to sleep with my grandma. She used to tell me wonderful stories. Suddenly she left the body. Suddenly grandfather left the body. So we need to understand that this is something, that's why Srila Prabhupada says skin disease. We are prone to that. But I am not saying, don't get me wrong, that we should not protect our families. We should protect our families, but there are some higher things which we need to acknowledge also. Recently, 2 days back, I have seen a video. A snake has snatched the baby of a rat, and in the round that snake, whatever the body, it makes a round. In that round, that rat, I don't know, rat का बेटा को क्या बोलते हैं मुझे मालूम नहीं. So rattan or written or I don't know. So rat kid was there inside, and this one rat's mother came and attacked this snake, and snake was trying to poison the rat, but she still somehow took that rat kid and went away. So we need to understand, Prabhuji and Mataji, that this particular sense of material security, protection is not only common to us, but also for each and every living entity. In my village, hens, chickens, hen and small chicks used to be there. So we used to play. So if I pick a chick, immediately that hen will expand its wings and used to attack. And even also I got attacked a couple of times. So we need to understand that, this sense of protection, protection, it is there across all the living entities. So we need to grow above that. That's the point. Okay. So now, if you carefully observe, in this all of us are living in this sense of artificial material security, which is right. Okay, now Guru, approach a bona fide Guru to come out of material perplexities. So there are two words what has been used, Kripana and Brahmana. Kripana means definition of a man in material perplexity, one who does not understand the problems of life. I already mentioned what are the real problems of life, right? Everyone knows what are the real problems of life. What are they? 4. What are the real problems of life? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Okay. So Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad mentions miser, Kripana, or broad-minded. So Kripana means kanjus. Kanjus is you are using body only for this material benefits. అంతే కదా. ఎవరైనా if someone is only using చిల్లరగాళ్ళలాగా 5 పైసలు ఇది ఇస్తానంటే కంజూస్ అంటారు కదా. అలాగే మన బాడీని ఓన్లీ యు ఆర్ లిమిటింగ్ టు ఓన్లీ ఫర్ మెటీరియల్ ఎంజాయ్మెంట్స్, బట్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ leveraging this human body for higher goals, because in this human body only you can understand the spirituality. That is the only difference between animals and humans. That's the reason why he has quoted Kripana. 2 aspects of skin disease. Things that I can protect, save and I can protect and save the family members from death. He thinks. Thinks that the family can save me. Quits life like cats and dogs without understanding self-release. Again you have to take a birth. Again you have to take a birth. Brahmana, intelligent and utilizes the human body to solve the real problems of life. That's what he was talking about. Okay. So Guru, approach, mood required for learning Bhagavad Gita, setting the mood for understanding the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna versus mundane scholar. Though, it is said, Patakalamlo, and earlier days, generations, if there are some 10 kids around in the family, if we hit strongly one kid, other 9 kids would be straightened up. Right? Like that, our situation is like this. Arjuna, one more comparison is, mother is there and daughter-in-law comes to new home. Daughter-in-law comes in the same house. Daughter is also there. There are so many daughter-in-laws, and daughter is there and mother-in-law is there. And to teach a lesson to daughter-in-law, he shouts at daughter, "Yende uppu anta kalipedi daridranga," ani daughter ni tittaru anko, migitha aa kodalandaru set ayipotaru. పప్పులో ఇంత ఉప్పేసేది సరిగ్గా వేయచ్చు కదా అని తిట్టారు. కోడలందరూ సెట్ అమ్ము అత్తయ్య కంటే ఈ పప్పులో ఇంత ఉప్పు వేయాలి అలా సెట్ అయిపోతారు. అలాగే మన పరిస్థితి కూడా ఇంతే. ఇక్కడ అత్తయ్య ఎవరు? కృష్ణ ఇస్ ద మదర్ ఇన్ లా, అండ్ కూతురు ఎవరు? అర్జున, అండ్ మనందరం కోడళ్ళం అనమాట. సో ఇండైరెక్ట్లీ దిస్ మెసేజ్ ఇస్ టు అస్, ఎవ్రీవన్. So setting the Arjuna versus mundane scholar. Correct mood. Arjuna stops friendships and surrenders to Krishna as the first disciple of Bhagavad Gita. Incorrect mood. Mundane scholars say that there is no need to submit to Krishna but to unborn within Krishna. Therefore he is called greatest fool with respect to understanding the Bhagavad Gita. There are so many people in the market who are not belonging to Sampradaya. They talk about Bhagavad Gita and they never talk about Arjuna and Krishna themselves. Have you seen them? Have you come across anyone like that? They talk about Bhagavad Gita. Everyone, most of the people, they talk about Bhagavad Gita slokas if you go to YouTube, they will talk, but they never talk about Krishna and Arjuna. who are the sole reason for coming this, making this Bhagavad-Gita out. Okay. So when we turn away from God, we invite sufferings, and when we align with Him, we become happy. So like this already we have, like naughty children, the forgetful living entity becomes attracted to the glittering illusion of false beauty of the objects of this material world. Okay, so that's what we are talking about. Now we are in a situation, as a child, as a kid, who where we are going for a big fair, or dan Telugulo emantaru jatara. జాతరలోకి వెళ్ళామనుకోండి, యాజ్ ఎ కిడ్ you gets attracted to that fair and leaves your parents' hands and go inside and lost. Our situation is like that we are not realizing. అటు వెళ్ళాక ఆ ఫేర్లో వెళ్ళిపోయాక బా ఏమి తుపాకు వెలుస్తున్నాడు దాని మీద, బా ఏమి రంగులు రాట్నము అయిపోతుంది. ఆ రంగులు రాట్నం ఎంతసేపు ఉంటుంది? గంట 2 గంటలు. దాని తర్వాత అమ్మా నాన్న ఎక్కడున్నావు వెతకాలి. వీ హ్యావ్ టు సర్చ్ ఫర్ అవర్ పేరెంట్స్, రైట్? So that is the situation. Only till that moment that Rangul Ratnam is there, you will be happy. But after that, you have to again go back to parents. But parents are not there. So that is our situation. And a lot of people are not even realizing that. Yeah, Rangul Ratnam, very colorful world. So yeah, that's what we are talking about. So in one sense, we are also orphaned, disconnected from the Lord. And now, second, till for this lesson 1, are there any questions? Please, without hesitation, ask. Are there any questions in the first lesson? So basically we need to understand when we say Guru, కొన్నిసార్లు అనిపిస్తుంది ఏంటి, ఫర్ రన్నింగ్ పీటీ ఉషా, everyone knows పీటీ ఉషా, రైట్? పాపం అమ్మాయి ఫీల్ అవుతుందేమో, మళ్ళీ ఇప్పుడు బుక్ చేస్తాడు నన్ను. ఓకే, సో పీటీ ఉషా, షీ ఈస్ గుడ్, known for what? Running. Sometimes I used to feel, running also coaching is required. Coach is required, right? Running అంటే మనం ఎన్నిసార్లు ఉరకలేదు. ఇప్పుడు మామిడికాయ మా పల్లెటూరులో ఇది మామిడికాయ దొంగతనం చేస్తే తోటమాలి ఎంటపడి ఆ ఉరుకుడు మామూలు ఉరుకుడు ఉండదు. ఉరకటమే కాదు, అదేంటి హర్డిల్స్ కూడా, గోడ దొంగటము, దాని తర్వాత మళ్ళీ ఉరకటము, అలాగా. సో ఐ యూస్ టు సర్ప్రైజ్ దట్ ఫర్ రన్నింగ్ ఆల్సో కోచ్ ఈజ్ రిక్వైర్డ్. So, but it is required. So we need to understand that we need to accept Guru who are under the bona fide Sampradaya only. And without Guru, we can't gain spiritual knowledge. And don't expect once you are surrendered to Guru, he will ask for your asti, he will ask for your money, and he will fool you. No, that's not the intention. His only intention is how to make you God realize and go take you back home, back to Godhead. But people, due to the scams happening across the world, they are having a aversion to the word like Guru. But we need to understand, we should see for a bona fide Guru who are there in Sampradayas. Last time I told, what are the 4 Sampradayas? Brahma Sampradaya. Our Sampradaya, you are forgetting. Ours is Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Brahma Sampradaya. Okay. So yeah, next. Any more questions in the first lesson? Fine. Right. I am going to the second lesson. Second lesson is about identity. Who are you? What will you say if someone is asking question? Who are you? Who are you? In general parlance, what is the answer you will be giving? My name is. Anything else? Qualification. Okay. I am so. I am PhD holder. I am BTech holder. I am service delivery manager. I am this. I am that. Okay. Yeah. Now this is the point where Krishna gives the knowledge of soul and body. Okay. If I ask you a question now, if you see, we all as a physical body, chemically all are same, right? Body wise, that's also true. If we our body, if we properly see, our body is made up of chemicals. You accept, right? Everyone, any questions on that? So who are you? What would be your answer? So Dr. Harry Monson, professor of anatomy of Illinois College of Medicine, says most of the human body is water. In a 60-pound person, there are about 5 pounds of calcium, 1.5 pound of phosphate, about 9 ounces of potassium, 6 ounces each of sulfur and sodium, 1 ounce of magnesium. So like this, I don't want to dwell much here in the interview. A lot of slides are there. So basically what we need to understand that physically our body comprises of chemicals. Now does that sound like you? Please ask yourself, is this essential? Is this essential stuff of your identity? No, right? Obviously no. So don't you feel we are more than chemicals which constitute this body? Then what? Then what it is? Who is she? Name. Who is she? You might have seen, but forgot the name. आप ऐसा मूवी लो छोड़ रहे हैं कदा great. Yeah, I think she is I think Hina Khan, or I don't remember, me also I don't know, but she is one of the Bollywood heroines. Okay, Bollywood heroines. When she was there, it is like this. And beauty queen, she was a beauty queen also, by the way. And after she died, it was this: chemicals are the same, no feelings, no desires, no thinking, no movement, no consciousness, same body, but the soul is gone. The soul is gone. Will you accept, Prabhuji and Mother? Any questions? So we need to accept that in this material body we have a spiritual soul. మన ఈ శారీరక భౌతిక శరీరంలో ఒక సోల్ అనేది ఉంది. ఎవరికైనా క్వశ్చన్ ఉందా? సోల్ లేదు, మన బాడీ అంటే సోల్ అనేది ఉండదు అనేది ఏమైనా ప్రశ్న ఉందా? క్లియర్, రైట్? So we need to understand, for the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. That's what we need to understand. So body is like a car కి మనం రుద్ది ప్రతిరోజు క్లీన్ చేస్తాము, పెట్రోల్ పోస్తాము, ఏసీ ఆన్ చేస్తాము, అన్నీ చేస్తాము. కానీ డ్రైవర్కి మీరు బో పెట్టకుండా కార్ వెళ్తుందా? వెళ్ళదు కదా. కార్ని ప్రాపర్గా అందంగా తయారు చేస్తారు ప్రతిరోజు. అసలు కొంతమంది కార్లు అయితే ప్రతిరోజు వాళ్ళకి అదొక సరదా, మంచి ఏదో రాల్స్ రాయస్ అలాంటి పెద్ద బిగ్ కార్స్ సమ్మన్ ఈజ్ పర్చేసింగ్, దట్స్ ఏ డైలీ డ్యూటీ ఫర్ దెమ్. బై రుద్ది అంటే వండర్ఫుల్ కార్ ఐ హ్యావింగ్ అని రోజు ఎవ్రీ డే దే డూ క్లీనింగ్. But they clean and do all the necessary, adjustments you do for the car, and you don't even give a thing to eat to the driver. Will the car go? No, right? That's what is happening. So this car is like a body and driver is like a soul. We need to understand that. Okay? So if you kill, so that's what Krishna was saying. Even if you kill Bhishma or Dronacharya, even if you kill them, they will be taking another birth. Again they will be starting their journey as a kid. Okay, that's what Arjuna was trying to highlight, the same thing here. Okay, he has not come into being, that means soul has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. Okay, he is unborn he is unborn eternal, ever existing also. So like this how it goes: body and soul, matter, spirit, not conscious, changes, no changes, temporary, eternal, dead, alive. At one point of the time body would be dead, but soul is always alive. So but Arjuna was still attached to the bodily attachments. So that's what Krishna was trying to point out, and he was also even pointing out that Duryodhana is seeing this war as part of a Ardha Shastra, means the material gains point of view, and Arjuna was seeing this war as a Dharma Shastra point of view. Are nenu idi chese tappu, naku ila papam vastadi, I will be getting sins. From Dharma Shastra point of view Arjuna was seeing. So that we need to understand. Okay, so Krishna, so atom is a fundamental parameter of any matter. Atom is a fundamental parameter of any matter. Soul is a fundamental block for spirit. The soul is a fundamental atom for the consciousness also. That's what he was pointing. So what is the difference between living body and dead body? Lord Krishna taught Arjuna, you are not the body, you are a spirit soul. So already we have discussed about the car and all. So two things what we learned is you are not the body and you are the soul, and the soul moves from one body to another body. Any questions till now? Do you accept or not? Yes or no? We need to understand Prabhuji, and that's what he is discussing: Ardha Shastra, Dharma Shastra, and Jnana Shastra. So he was saying that Duryodhana is applying everything from an Ardha Shastra point of view. How many, how to gain the material benefits and all. He was discussing Dharma Shastra. Our Arjuna was only seeing this war from a Dharma Shastra point of view, that my Pitru Dharma, my Bhatru Dharma, my other Dharma, from a Dharma Shastra point of view, Arjuna was thinking. But Krishna was trying to take him to a Gnana Shastra level to understand the basic thing, that you are not a body, you are a soul. Any questions here, Prabhuji and Matajis? Because this is the foundation for everyone to know. If you have any questions that prove me the soul, you are a soul, I can go on. But if you are convinced that we are souls, I am fine. I don't want to go further. Any questions? Please. Ila question adakapothe bagodu. Okay. So like this now. Yeah. All individuals exist eternally. So we have been there, we are there, we will be there always. So Arjuna might argue, although the soul is eternal, body is related to the soul and thus becomes an object of affection. Once relatives who are connected to the body also become dear. So when their bodies perish, there will be certainly a lamentation when you are getting attached. Okay? When the soul leaves the spiritual world and comes to material world, he forgets his true identity as soul. And foolishly thinks himself to the material body made up of flesh and bones. Baunda? Okay, analysis of a body and soul. So that's what again Krishna is saying in the 13th sloka. Arjuna might argue, but still I am attached to their current bodies and lament due to separation from them. Thus my senses and mind are burning up. So every living body, be it human, animal, bird, tree, undergoes these 6 changes: birth, growth, maintenance, production of byproducts, means our kids, dwindling, aging, and death. These are the 6 phases what each and every living entity goes through. Not only humans, each and every living entity. Material viewpoint: we are bodies made up of matter. We are no more than a chemical bundle. Everything is finished at the time of death. Spiritual point of view: అదే అంటారు, గుర్తు ఎవరైనా ఈ మధ్య చనిపోతే రెస్ట్ ఇన్ పీస్, ఆ రిప్ అని అంటుంటారు. రిప్ ఈజ్ ఎ రాంగ్ వర్డ్. నో సోల్ రెస్ట్ ఇన్ పీస్. Whenever in my friends group also they say rip and all, I pray that let the soul have a safe journey to the ultimate abode, and let Krishna ensure that he is bringing him closer to himself in next janma or next life. When I say closer to Krishna, at least if he is born in a Brahmin family where from birth itself they are following the religious principles and all. We are not already we discussed this. We are a spirit soul engaged in a material body. So we don't die when material body stops to function. What is the difference between a living body and dead body? Already I have seen that. We have already mentioned about car and unseen driver of the bodily car. And the same thing, we can take an example of cage and parrot. You are not giving a food to parrot, but you are only painting the cage. Na cage anta baagundo, indulo parrot anta baagundo ani utti cage ne decorate chestunnaru, but you are not feeding the parrot itself. So like that, we are only feeding our body, but we are not thinking about feeding the soul. Proof for soul's existence: when a person dies, we say he has passed away. Who has passed away? The body is still there, right? So I don't want to, because since already our elevated souls here, so I don't want to discuss much, because we generally say he has passed away, but the body is there only, right? So the soul has passed away. So that's the proof. When a person dies, we say he has passed away. Yeah, the same thing. The spiritual body he gets, and consciousness means to be aware, thinking, feeling, willing and intentionally, and near death experience and out of body experience. Have you come across this thing anytime from your, not you, but any one of your friends? Out of body experience, near death experience. I have personally met one doctor is there, in our Gachiboli satsang families. We are having a group of around 100 to 150 families, wherein one of the Mataji is Karunradhika Mataji. She works in Apollo as a doctor, and her husband has passed away, but doctors have clinically declared him as dead. We have a certificate also, but after declaring him dead, he came back again. Near death experience. That session also, one YouTube session we requested Prabhuji to give, so he has given the session also, how he felt, how was it, and all. So this also happened. Of course, this not happens with everyone, but this is also there, which proves the existence of soul. So like this, there are a lot of proofs. In fact, there are a lot of proofs like that. Ian Stevenson is, I think, Oxford University, one professor. There is a separate department which talks about reincarnation and rebirths. There is a separate department where it is proven that we take birth. And also, so, to tolerate the temporary dualities, equanimity, the eligibility for liberation. So all this things, since you already know we are soul, I am not taking much time here. Soul never dies. No one can kill the soul. Changing body is similar to changing clothes. So it is the same thing. When we change body, it is similar to we are changing clothes. That's what Krishna is mentioning here. This is what I was talking. Proof of soul's existence, reincarnation research. It is there. He is there. Ian Stevenson, Carlson Professor Psychiatry at the University of Virginia. Sorry, it was not Oxford. Has extensively investigated over 2,000 cases of spontaneous reincarnation memories. If you want, you can search in YouTube. Proof that rebirths and reincarnation is there. Any doubts? లేవంటారా? రీబర్త్ ఉందంటారా లేదంటారా? We take rebirth or not? ఏంటమ్మా పునర్జన్మ ఉందంటారా? డౌటా? 100%? Okay, so we need to understand that. So these are some cases. I don't want to dwell. So there are a lot of cases like that, and if you really want it, then I can provide a book also. What are the cases and all? You can get the book written. So there are 100 books proving reincarnation today. But see, it's not always each and every kid would not remember. Actually, he remembers his past life in the initial 3 to 4 months or 1 year or 2 years at the max. But at that time, he would not be in a position to communicate. But he remembers. Shastras say that when a kid is taking birth, he remembers his previous life for some time. But after that, once he mingles up with the material thing, it comes. Phobia comes from this thing I have observed from my own kids. Okay, I have 2 kids. One is Dhruv and one is Bhavika. Like it is mentioned, phobia comes from the past lives. Phobias are related to the mode of death of a person whose life is being remembered. For example, if the previous life ended up in drowning, there would be a phobia of water. Actually, personally, I have seen for my kids. I wanted to explain. Bhavika is my elder kid. When she was some baby, around 5 to 6, when she was kid of around 3 to 4 months, I used to swing her up and catch her. So I used to throw her up and catch her. So she used to love, she used to laugh a lot. She used to enjoy that activity of me throwing up and again taking her back. She used to love that act very much. But the same thing, my younger one is there, Dhruv. She is Bhavika, by the way. Just now I was talking about. Okay, so she used to enjoy that. But my younger one, when 5 to 6 months old, when I used to again do the same act, he used to cry a lot. Even till today, when we go to Wonderla and such kind of places, whatever the height related activities are there, only myself and my kid go, but Dhruv never comes. I just when I see from the top himself, he will simply standing like that. I used to feel very probably emotional or no, because I used to feel emotional that I don't know what kind of a trauma he might have gone in his past life with the height. Probably he might have fallen from height and died. I don't know. But he's very fearful of heights, my younger one. But we need to understand, Prabhuji, sometimes it will be a surprising act for people, where brothers are born for the same mother, but they will be completely different. But we think that ఇద్దరికి ఒకే తిండి పెట్టాం కదరా, ఇద్దరికి ఒకేలాగా చూసాం కదరా, ఇలా తయారవే అంటరా అని అనుకుంటాం చాలాసార్లు. But the fact is, what is the past life he had gone through, we don't know. What karmas he has come through, I don't know. Dhruv and Bhavika, my kids, with what past life karmas they have come with born in my family, I don't know. As a parent, I can endeavor to give some values to them and ready to face the problems. Prabhujis and Matajis, don't be in impression that with our protection, your kids will never face problems. I am sorry to say that. Everyone in this material world will face problems, and we need to equip them to face the problems. Okay? Yeah. So similarly, a lot of things in the previous life, we ended up in a stabbing. There would be a phobia of blades and weapons, like this difference in temperament. Twins, the same thing. I don't want to dwell much here. What happens to us at death? The soul leaves the gross body behind and is taken to another womb based on the quality of desires stored in his subtle body at the time of death. So at the time of death, whatever the desires he is having, for example, I am having a desire of becoming a good dancer. I think one Mataji in our Vihanga only asked, I wanted to fly. Prabhuji, can I fly? Okay, so yes, you can fly. If you are having that strong desire and if you are having a good karma balance, then that would be fulfilled. But if the desire is there, but the karma balance is less, you will not get it. And that Krishna, that's what he was talking about, womb based on the quality of desire stored in the subtle body, and at the time of death, depending on the karma balance you have, that particular body you will attain for sure. But that's not what we want. Again, in that body also Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Again, LKG onwards, again you have to start. You wanted to study LKG again? LKG malli chadavalanuntunnava? Okay. Yeah. So as a person puts on new dresses, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Soul changing bodies from one species to another. So like this, case study by, it's again one more case. Shukla was a little more than 5, and Sri Sen Gupta and 5 other members of his family journeyed with her to Bhatpara, where when they arrived, Shukla took the lead. She brought them straight to the house of Sri Amritlal Chakravarti, allegedly her father-in-law in her past life. All these are cases, Mataji. If you are really interested, you can go, and I can give the contact also if you want. Okay. Shukla recognized her previous lifetime house, her mother-in-law, brother-in-law, husband and daughter indicated in Sri Haridana Chakravarti as her husband, the nicknames as well as real names of her brother-in-laws. No, it doesn't happen always. It is very rare. Everyone won't remember, but some fortunate ones remember their previous lives also for much longer time. So analysis of body and soul. So that's what is being told about. I think there is no need to go through. That the soul cannot be cut by weapons, cannot be burnt by fire, moistened by water, weathered by wind, unbreakable, insoluble. All the characteristics of soul are given here. Okay, so this is about the soul and body. Any questions? Lesson 2 is over. We will go to lesson 3. Yeah.
So when the soul passes on to the next world, what happens to the awareness of the previous body?
No, there is no awareness of previous body. Will not have any awareness. It's only a material matter. It doesn't have
choices.
Huh? The choices or the consciousness or the mind or ego will be traveling with the soul.
So if I am a criminal and I like doing crime activities, then will that consciousness...
The tendency of criminal, the tendency of killing, that tendency of drinking blood and all, it would be satisfied. It would be satisfied by you being born in lion's family, and you can drink blood like anything. So the tendency of killing or beating or committing crime would be traveling along with the soul, and enjoyment of that tendency would be you would be given a body where you can enjoy that. Coming to criminal or blood, there might be some people who are over involved in sexual activities, and they are over involved. Then with that consciousness, if he is leaving the body, he might be born and in a pigeon family, where a pigeon would be having that act per day for almost 50 to 60 times. Do you know that? Yeah, pigeons, they have that act for almost 60 to 70 times per day. So that you will be born in those kind of species. So there also Krishna is fulfilling your desire only. You wanted that desire to be fulfilled, right? Go take this body and you fulfill. Be born as a monkey and fulfill the desire. I hope I answered. Whatever the thinking or the tendency you are having, the tendencies also would be carried along with your soul. Body doesn't care. Body is simply a matter, chemicals. That's it. छोड़ देने का उसके साथ के अंदर क्या पड़ता है? Yes, Prabhu ji? Yeah, I think you came late, I believe. We have, in the initial slide, we have given the composition of our body. Each and every one of us having that chemicals in our body. The physical body is made up of chemicals only. Chemicals only. There is nothing spiritual. What are the thinking we are carrying, what are the tendencies we are carrying, all would be traveled along with the soul when it leaves your body. Okay, anyway, that's a different thing where what is the pain, what it undergoes when the soul is leaving from the body. Do you know what it is compared with? I think already I mentioned. When the soul is leaving from the body, the pain a person would be undergoing is equal to biting 10,000 scorpions at one time. 10,000 scorpions at one time, when they sting you, what the pain you will be getting, that pain you are going to experience if you are a non-devotee. That is explained in Shastras also. Soul, when it leaves the body, soul is not ready. I am identifying this body. I don't want to go away from the body. That is attached to the body very much. Then, with that much pain, the soul goes away from the body. I mean, Yamadutas take the soul from the body. Because soul wanted to be with this body only, but your time is up, Baba, you have to go. Your time is up, you have to go. Yamadutas will be coming, but he is not ready to come. Then they will be pulling that soul from the body, and that pain caused is equal to 10,000 scorpions stinging at one time. If you are a non-devotee. Yeah.
Who decides this time is over?
Time is over, yes. That is decided by Krishna. That is decided by Krishna, and Krishna knows, and he has delegated this task to Yamaraj, and only Krishna and Yamaraj only know what time a living entity would have to leave this body.
There are astrologers who can predict what is going to happen. In my family, I assume that they tell that this person is going to die from car.
Yes.
How do they make sense of what is going to happen?
Mataji, there are some great souls. Great souls. 1 minute. Just adjusted it, bro. 1 minute. Let me put this side. Leave it, bro. Leave it. And I'll leave it. Always it's a problem. Okay, so yeah, so coming to your question, Mataji, so these Krishna and Yamadharmaraj only knows it, and he has delegated this work to Yamadharmaraj, where he will be knowing each and every living entity at what time he has to leave the body. And that time is also known to only them. And once that time has come, it might be in many ways. See, it can be accident, it can be any other sources, but that is the time he has to leave the body. Only these astrologers, and there are shastras, there are some souls who can postpone their death if they are surrendered to the Lord. Astrologers, how they will be knowing? That's what your question is. There are, Mataji, they now I need to know the specific example.
So my aunt's aunt, she lost her husband and son in a
car accident.
And two astrologers had told them, they just casually got somebody and said, these people are nice in our neighborhood. astrologer. He said that avoid driving car. There's an accident, fatal accident that looks in your chart. So after hearing this, they went to their known astrologer. He said they are not going to survive. They're going to meet with an accident and
Yes, yes, yes. Mataji, they would be able to tell how they might, some Gandams would be there, Jalagandam, Sarpa Gandam, that's what he mentioned, accidents, avoid driving, so it's danger for you. That Gandams they can tell, but they can't tell the exact time. That Gandams are, it's not only them, there are separate Shastras where each and every living entity would be having some dosha, where they are not expected to be in that kind of environment. But no one can say that on that day, this particular time you will die. Only Krishna and Yamaraja only knows. Okay, but each and every living entity would be having their own. But Mataji, try to understand. It's not how much will you drag. One day you have to leave. We need to understand. But that time even astrologers would not be knowing. They can tell one thing, that there is a danger for you when you are in water. Some people, for example, my own uncle is there who stays in Angol. He has seen it through an astrologer where it is said that your kids please avoid driving their own driving, motorbike or car. They told the same thing. But that is possible, but they can't say at what time, on which day you will die. They will not say. Okay? Yeah. So that's the. Yeah, any more questions?
There are approved shastras, right?
Yeah. There are approved shastras who can tell about these gandas, like what is wrong for you and all. They can tell you, but they no one can talk about on this day, this time you will go.
So with respect to Bhagavadgita, from our childhood we get Kundali.
Janma Kundali.
We always go to an astrologer and get a Kundali for the baby. So is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because with Krishna consciousness, he said, why do we do it? And you have faith in
Mataji, Janma Kundali is a good thing to see. Janma Kundali is a good thing to see. But we need to understand, we need to see the Kundali with a consciousness that for whatever the time we are staying in this material world, we should have good relations. And we match the Kundalis with the girl or a boy before marriage to see their married life would be with less hurdles, and they can approach to God sooner or smoothly. That is the intention, not to stay permanently here. So sometimes we see Kundali such that our spiritual journey is going smoothly. Our partner should be aligned with us. And there are so many love marriages happening. They won't see any Kundali and all. Face it. I am not saying they all are failures, but we need to understand the reason for Janma Kundali and all. It is nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. We can see it, and they even see Janma Kundali when they say they see the marriage, and they also see at what time the girl and boy should come together to, if they are having a thoughts of getting a child. Garbhadan Samskar. Garbhadan Samskar they talk about. So at what time exactly they need to be united, and before that they need to perform the 64 rounds of chanting, such that they are bringing good souls or devotee souls in their life, such that they have less problems in the life in future, and they can progress soon towards God consciousness. Okay? Yeah. So yeah, next is lesson 3, that is T, 2 duties, spiritual Swadharma and material Swadharma. The logic behind this proposition, Mataji, try to understand. We means our material body. Inside this, we are having a spiritual soul. Do you agree? Right? We are having a material body. Inside this material body, we are having a spiritual soul. So that is the reason why we are having 2 duties to be performed. One is material duty, other is spiritual duty. Be clear with this. One is material duty, other is spiritual duty. And spiritual duty you have to perform not only in this body, but whatever the body you take. I mean, if you are taking a human body, of course, if you are in an animal body, it's very difficult. Okay, but we need to understand that our body, since our body consists of matter and spirit soul, we have 2 duties to perform. That is nothing but spiritual Swadharma, that is Sanatana Dharma, and material Swadharma, which is even called constitutional duty and conditional duty, because we are in this condition temporarily. That is why conditional duty. What are those conditional duties? What are those conditional duties? Any idea? What can be? You can guess it, I think. What are the conditional duties? What are the conditional duties? వరల్డ్లీ డ్యూటీస్ లైక్ నా కూతుర్ని బాగా చదివించాలి, నా కూతుర్ని బాగా చదివించాలి, మా హస్బెండ్ని చక్కగా చూసుకోవాలి, మా అత్తమామల్ని సరిగ్గా చూసుకోవాలి, I have to take care of my in-laws, I have to take care of my husband, I have to take care of my wife, I have to take care of my kids, I need to take care of, I need to thank God and demigods for providing water, rains and good food. I need to thank demigods. All these are conditional duties. Conditional duties. Because we are in this condition for some time, probably 60, 70 or 80 years or 90 years. For some condition you are there in this body. So you are having some duties to perform in this condition. Similarly, constitutional duty. Constitutional duty is, permanent Sanatana Dharma, where it talks that which cannot be given up or that which is constant companion. And water and liquidity cannot be separated. Salt and saltiness cannot be separated. Fire cannot be separated from the heat and light. Now look at the world around you. What is that cannot be separated from a living being? So we need to understand that it is something like, how many of you here are working in corporate companies? Raise your hands. Yeah. So if you are working, I myself working in TCS, we are having horizontal departments and we are having vertical departments. Horizontal departments means HR, facilities, finance, all these departments are horizontal departments. But there are some individual departments as well, which all these horizontal departments do perform. Okay, so there is a vertical department and horizontal department. Are you getting me, Prabhuji and Mataji, what I am saying? So we need to understand that we are having a vertical duty and we are having a horizontal duty. Horizontal duty means a conditional duty. By being in this condition, by being in this body, we are having certain duties for a temporary period of say 80 or 90 years, where you have to perform a duty as a husband, father, son, grandfather, teacher, society member, colleagues, neighbors. These are all are conditional duties. Okay. And Sanatana, constitutional duty is the duty towards God. Yes, Sanatana Dharma. Okay, so but our most of the lives, as we see, every living being renders. One thing common in Prabhuji and Mataji, we need to understand that each and every living entity is some way or the other way he is serving, one or the other. One might be serving his wife, one might be serving his husband, one might be serving his dog, one might be serving his customers. Okay, but such service in this world is punctuated by death. That we need to understand. So this horizontal dharma, whatever is there, is punctuated by death. Okay, so it is something like, Solomon Brondi, born on Monday, died on Wednesday. That's what we are living. But no one is worried, having the pets. And because they are not finding the real love. They are trying to see it in animals. And I'm not against pets, but so many communities we are having dog lovers and all. But we need to understand, we are not against any living entity to that fact. But we need to see what is the true love with whom we need to have. Because they are not finding love, so they try to find out a dog, and my own community, they raise the dog and they will feel what a protection I have given to a dog. Then I personally met Mohan Jagannathan. He is one of my neighbor, fight and flat, where whenever he took 2 street dogs and he properly ensured they were healthy and all. And one dog died one day, and he was fine. Though I didn't tell karma, girma and all to him, he told, and he was feeling sorrow. My dog died. My first dog died, Mahesh. Oh, sorry, Mohan. Sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry. I think you are really taken a good care of dogs and all. Had you not been there, they would have been in a more worse situation and all. I told for solace, but it's not the right thing, we are an impression by he seeing the dogs, the dog got saved. So is God had God would not have taken care of them? Had he not taken the dog for themselves, God will not take care of them? Whatever the street dogs are there, you are seeing, is God not taking care of them? They are getting. Have you seen a dog dying of hunger? Anytime? Have you seen a dog dying of hunger in your vicinity? Tell me. Yes or no, Mataji? Prabhuji. Have you seen any dog dying of hunger? No, right? So, but we are in a wrong sense that we are serving a dog and we are taking care of it. And when Deepavali comes, Chavi, go out and play, no? Go out and play. Okay? So, when the Deepavali comes, when Deepavali, Prabhuji, so when Deepavali comes, you know, this crackers and all, people, all these dog owners and all, they create a ruckus. Our dogs, how sensitive this with the cracker sound and all, they are getting disturbed and all, they cry a lot in WhatsApp groups. But the same people, they eat non-veg left and right and give non-veg to it. What about them? Is it a right thing to think? कुछ पटाखा बजा, साउंड आया, मेरे डॉग को बहुत कितना हानि हो रहा है, बेचारा कितना सह रहा है, we feel a lot. What about killing and eating? Have you ever thought? They will not even come in front. Because I never in WhatsApp, in our WhatsApp groups, when they put like that, I give very strong in WhatsApp group itself. Whatever they think later. They talk about humanity and all. Your dog only is a living, loving, living entity, and other living entities are waste. Okay. So anyway, the basic point what we need to understand, Prabhuji and Mataji, is that rendering service is our inherent nature actually. Servitude attitude is there since time immemorial. As I said, we all were there at one time in Vaikunta along with the God. We were serving him nicely. At some point or the other, we got jealous of him. And we are come to this material world. Okay, every living being loves someone, but relationship and love in this material world is temporary. What is the time? Yeah. Dharma of a soul is to love and serve God. In this world, when paycheck is stopped, service to company is also stopped. Right? If 30th ting sound is not coming, you will stop serving company also, right? So like this, though we may want to go on loving our parents, relatives and friends, death stops our connection and we move over to another situation. That we need to understand. But God is eternal, soul is eternal, and the loving relationship between the two is also eternal. We are not even trying to know what our soul likes. We are only trying to satisfy our bodily senses. But no one is even trying to know what exactly is required. So we need to understand, Arjuna thought, if I kill all, whom shall I enjoy? So if Krishna says that if you kill all, if you win the war, you will rule the world. If you lose the war and he dies, he will go to the heavenly planets. But you don't go step back in performing the dharma. That's what Krishna says for that question. So if you run away your prescribed duty, it's a sin. In fact, whatever the prescribed duty is there, it's a sin. ఏమంటే నాకు ఈరోజు భగవత్ జ్ఞానం వచ్చిందండి, నేను మొత్తం రినౌన్స్ చేసి కృష్ణుడి సేవలో ఉండిపోతాను, మా ఆవిడ నా పిల్లల్ని వదిలేస్తాను, ఎందుకండి ఈ మ్యాటర్ వీళ్ళందరూ టెంపరీగా ఉన్న వాళ్ళు అందరిని వదిలేసి నేను హిమాలయాకి వెళ్ళిపోతాను. దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ద మెసేజ్ వాట్ కృష్ణ ఇస్ గివింగ్, బట్ దట్ ఈస్ wrongly portrayed in the lot of fake gurus portrayed this way, that Krishna wants everyone to go back and renounce everything and go back. No, he tells to perform his conditional duties, and that eternal love and service to God is called Sanatana Dharma. So whatever the thing, that eternal love and service to God is called Sanatana Dharma. So as I said, in the earlier days, whatever the benefits out of the crops they used to get when the gold is made, that gold was first given to the Lord. Have you seen IPL match, wherein IPL, I think Mumbai Indians, they have won the match, and owner, who is she? Some owner, Neha Ambani or Neeta Ambani, I believe. She took the trophy and first offered to the Lord Krishna. Have you seen that video? Anyone? I think at that time it was going viral. So whatever the results she got, she offered it to the Lord. Okay, so that is the eternal duty what we have. So similarly, so if you run away, despite for a valid reason you might be planning to run away from the war, but Duryodhana is not that merciful to think like that. बेचारा दुर्योधन और बेचारा अर्जुन जा रहा है क्योंकि he is very compassionate about people. That's the reason why he is leaving. Is Duryodhana going to think about him like this? No, right? He is going to think timid fellow, తొడగొట్టి చెప్తున్నా చూసావా, ఈజ్ అ timid fellow, cowardly fellow, he left the war. That's what he's going to make fun of him. That's what Krishna was trying to say. Okay, so make a note that as we said, all this love and care in this world is always punctuated by death. So just as a man suffering from amnesia forgets his parents and relatives, we have forgotten our love and service to God. Yes, indeed, we have forgotten our love and service to God. Why we say we need to go back home, back to Godhead? Why we say we need to go back home, back to Godhead? We can simply say, go to God, no? Our life, our aim should be going to God. If we say going to God, that means we eternally first existed in this world, and then we are planning to go back to God. But that's not right. We say going back home, back to God, because we were there at one point, there along with God, and we have forgotten our relationship. That's what he's been pointing, like we have forgotten our love and service to God. And it's not a session to prove that, but there are lot of scriptural references that our existence have been there since time immemorial. Okay, so performing prescribed duty, anyway, so temporary and false relationships of this world that are finished with time. Okay, some are spouse centeredness. I have seen so many Prabhujis and Matajis, their life is spouse centeredness, you know. మా ఆయన అంటే నాకు ఎంత ప్రీతి అండి, నేను రోజుకి ఆయనకి నేను దండాలు పెట్టుకుంటాను. మా ఆవిడ అంటే నాకు చాలా ఇదండి, మా ఆవిడ లేకపోతే నాకు లైఫే లేదు. స్పౌస్ సెంటర్డ్నెస్. దెర్ ఆర్ సమ్ పీపుల్ హు ఆర్ ఫ్యామిలీ సెంటర్డ్నెస్. నా కుటుంబమే నా శక్తి. రక్త సంబంధం అంటే ఏమనుకున్నావురా? రైట్? హ్యావ్ యూ హర్డ్ దిస్ డైలాగ్స్? Yes or no? Yes or no? I think we are hesitating to tell, but these are the facts. some are money centeredness. पैसा है तो सभी है, money है तो honey है. Some are money centered, because even now there are, I have seen lot of my colleagues in my initial phases of my career, అరే ముందు మంచి ఫ్లాట్ తీసుకోవాలి, మంచి కార్ తీసుకోవాలి, మంచి బంగ్లా కొనాలి, దాని తర్వాత నేను పెళ్లి చేసుకుంటాను అంటే ఆ టైం అయిపోయేటరికి 35 years అవుతాయి. అప్పుడు ఆయన 37-38 yearsకి మ్యారేజ్ చేసుకుంటారు. ఐ హావ్ సీన్ దట్ కేసెస్ ఆల్సో. కరెక్ట్ టైంలో కరెక్ట్ పని జరగాలి, పెళ్ళి కరెక్ట్ టైంలో జరగాలి. ఓకే, సో సమ్ ఆర్ మనీ సెంటర్డ్నెస్. మనీ ఉంటేనే అలా వాల్యూ ఇచ్చేది, లేకపోతే మనీ ఇవ్వడం సొసైటీలో వాల్యూ ఇవ్వరా అంటే అందుకు మా అమ్మే అంటది నాతో, రే సంపాదించు మనీ ఉంటేనే రా సొసైటీలో నీకు వాల్యూ వచ్చేది మా అమ్మ అంటది నాకు. Anyway, I am not blaming them, because each and every person would be coming from their own background. So but we need to understand higher truths. But it's not that we should not earn money and all, but we need to earn with the right consciousness. Next, work centeredness. So some are workaholics. Do you know, I have seen some colleagues, you know, who wanted to be most of the time in office only. Have you seen anyone like that? They don't want to go to home, spend time with family, but they prefer to work like donkeys. Have you come across anyone like this? No, see, having a professional obligation is something different. There are days where I stretched myself for 2 days continuously in office. I am not saying that. But some people are workaholics in such a way that instead of preferring to spend time with the family, they prefer to spend time in office only. I have personally seen such colleagues. Have you? Yeah. So that is about work centeredness. Similarly, position centeredness. That car I should have. Pleasure centeredness. These days, Fortnite. Hey, bro, kill man, bro. Kids, video games. Okay. So like this, you know, friendly or enemy centeredness. Vaadni ela aina sare, in that deal I have to make him lose. I will crack the deal at any cost, and they themselves, you know, get into any mode for cracking the deal. So friend and enemy centeredness and dog centeredness, that's what we discussed, because these are all false relations. So spiritual happiness comes from servitorship to the Lord, executing one's spiritual swadharma, that is constitutional duty. Prabhuji, this is a very important topic. about having conditional duty and constitutional duty that we need to have without fail, because we are constituted of matter and soul, so we need to perform these two duties without fail. Okay, so material happiness comes from executing one's material swadharma prescribed duty. So benefits of fighting, that's what Krishna was saying. Fighting gives real enjoyment in all ways. If you win, you will get an unraveled kingdom on earth. If you lose, you will go to the heavenly planets. And losses by avoiding the prescribed duty of fighting means sin. It is a sin if you are not fighting. Not fighting as per the prescribed duties will be the real sin, because being a Kshatriya, he is supposed to fight. Brahman varni తీసుకెళ్ళి fight అంటే it's not. It is not their prescribed duty. Brahmans are meant for broadcasting the Brahma Jnana. Okay, so Krishna is trying to say that if you are avoiding the war, you are creating a sin by not doing your prescribed duty. It will be a sin, and it will be infamous as loss of fame which was gained by you, as a you are having a wonderful credits to you where you have defeated Lord Shiva and got Pashupatastra, and you have occupied the Indra's throne, and you even got a good appreciation from your Guru Dronacharya that you are a best student. That's what he was saying. And you will be dishonored. For a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. You agree? For a respectable person, there is no need to kill. If you are insulting him, is like a death for him, right? Ashwatthama, Arjuna didn't kill him. Being a Brahmana putra, he didn't kill him. Simply he cut the hair and left him. That was equivalent more than killing him. Okay, so people, your enemies will be ridiculing you, and your enemies will laugh at you, saying that you ran away. So that's what he was talking about. Swadharma, and that is our duty and destination. Swarga. If you are winning the war, if you are losing the war also, you will be getting Swarga Prapti. That is heavenly abode you will be going. If you are winning the war, if you are losing the war also. Sin, you will be incurring sin, and you will be incurring infamy and criticism and all. Already we have discussed. So all the questions, for the reasons what Arjuna has kept the bow aside, these are the respective answers by Krishna. For compassion for friends and relatives, he mentioned soul and body are different. Body is temporary and soul is permanent. So don't worry about that. For the second one, you will either win the earth or a heaven, depending on the victory status. Fearful of sinful reaction, don't worry. Failing in Kshatriya and spiritual duty is a sin. That is more sinful than not doing war. That's what Krishna mentions. Now coming to the fourth point, which is destruction of family traditions. Attached to Krishna, not Vedic rituals. So we should follow the Lord's instruction. That is the point. Destruction of family traditions. He was saying the same thing. Don't worry about family traditions. If a king like Yudhishthira is coming to power, he would be taking care of all the entire kingdom without. He will provide the necessary protection. And indecision. When the indecision comes, he says surrender to Guru and do your duty. There will be in our life also, there will be some things which you are not able to decide. So we should sincerely look for a Guru. Surrender. You have to surrender. తెలుగులో శరణాగతి, మనం శరణాగతి గురువు యొక్క శరణాగతి పొందడానికి ప్రయత్నించాలి. డోంట్ గో విత్ the gurus what we see are in scams, who are non-sampradaya people who come under scams, which has taken away faith on the kashaya vastras. But we need to see in a bona fide sampradaya gurus. Even I myself am seeking initiation from a spiritual guru whom I admire. Maharaj is there, with whom I am aspiring. Hopefully, Krishna willing, I might get initiation this year. I am not sure, but I am praying for that. So benefit, it is either way, whether you are losing a war or winning a war, you are going to benefit either way. That's what Krishna gives assurance. So Buddhi Yoga and Nishkama Karma. So Nishkama Karma, here he talks about you doing a prescribed duties, fighting as a duty, equanimity in duality. So here he is talking about performing prescribed duties gives enjoyment also. Sometimes when we perform duties of mom, dad, grandmother, uncle, neighborhood, you get enjoyment, right? For example, you got in a society, you recently you might have performed Vihanga-Chapter 2-Gita, Ganesh Chaturthi. So as a society member, when you do some service, you get some happiness, right? When you are serving, when you are helping them to manage the pandal or putting the statue there or the idol there, and how to arrange the puja arrangements and all. When you plan the things, you get a sense of enjoyment. So that's also a prescribed duty of you in a society as a society member. So like that, Krishna is talking about Nishkama Karma Yoga, where he is telling about all this doing and don't be irresponsible. You need to perform all the responsible duties whatever you have within a society. That's what he is trying to tell. And even the Nishkama Karma, if you see Hanuman, we can take the example of Hanuman. Hanuman, when we ask Hanuman, who are you? He will say, I am Lord Rama's servant. Lord Rama's servant. And similarly, when he asks what are you doing, he will say, I am trying to do Lord Rama's work. Lord Rama's work. He loves to do Lord Rama's work. And how do you do? I will do with full attention, full concentration, dedication, and determination. So that's what he will tell. So because it's Lord's work, he will do with full attention. That's what. And what will you do with the results? When we ask Hanuman, what will you do with the results? I will give the results again back to God, and I also thank him for giving the service. And these particular results are again, I could get these results only due to the power given by Lord Rama. With this, what are the strength he has given? How many of us think that what are the intelligence, what are the skill we got in performing your job is given by God? Are we doing our job with that consciousness? Always, most of us, we think that, okay, I cracked BTech, I was in the topper. In company entrance test, I got through with the company entrance test and got into a company. So with my material skills, with my material determination, I gained this material position. Yes or no? So we should be ready to give the results to Lord. That's what we are talking about. Okay. So we need to understand. So by doing all this, what will you get? First is, I will impress the Lord. Number one, impress the Lord. Second thing is, I will get purified. Are you getting? What does purification mean? Any example? By doing Lord's work, how are we going to get purified? How are we going to get purified? It looks very preachy, right? When I say, when we do this work, I will get purified. It looks very preachy. But practically, have you noticed when we are serving someone, we even forget our hunger? Right? But when we are not serving, sometimes that hunger would be increasing. But when we are serving, even we forget our hunger also. So when we do that service for the Lord, that purification happens. Yeah? Satisfaction. That satisfaction you will feel. That's why we always, recently, Srimad Bhagavatam, I have been calling a lot of people, a lot of devotees there. And, I have another service also. We are in Hyderabad and Secunderabad location, we are trying to I have been personally given 4 areas, Rajendra Nagar and Attapur, and like that there are some 7 to 8 areas are there, where I need to personally visit the places and make a note of the temples in that areas and take the contacts of the Brahmins who are serving the temples there and request them to place a Srimad Bhagavatam. We will be giving to you, but you place the Srimad Bhagavatam in the temple and daily at least read one shloka or one page. That's what the service we are taking. So we devotees, we have lined up for that service. Sometimes we will be getting wonderful purification also. Sometimes when we distribute books in the roadside, they siguleda yentidi and tirtaru. That's also purification. I don't know whether you have been part of book distribution or not. We sometimes go and last year we went in December near Inorbit Mall for distributing the books, distributing Bhagavadgitas. So wonderful experience we will have. Hey, Siggunda leda, yenda mammalni disturb chestavu, Siggunda leda antaru. Chee na bakam med Krishna. Manchi purification, wonderful purification. Because sometimes our material, nenu delivery manager na nannu enduku ala tidutunnavu. That thing will be there, no? నేను మంచి పొజిషన్లో సత్యప్రభు లాస్ట్ టైం last time one of our known devotees, Satya Prabhu, he was a country head. He was a country head for Lorhan IT company, and myself and him were going and distributing Bhagavadgita near In-Orbit Mall and Durgam Cheru area, and he was distributing, and one guy, if he doesn't like, he could say I don't like and go, but he was giving down to Satya Prabhu, hey, ఏంటా మీరు దొబ్బండి ఇక్కడి నుంచి, like that he told. Then I intervened and told him, yeah, he's a country head, please try to understand, if you don't like, you go from this side. Then Satya Prabhu was saying, Parlek Prabhu, purification, Krishna is removing my purification of that ego that I was the country head of this company, and he's submissing that ego in me. So how many of us will take like that? That is called purification. Sometimes that purification is required. Sometimes people cry, I got a very bad partner with me, I don't like my partner hates me. That is also purification. How many of you, it doesn't mean Prabhuji and Mataji that they are physically torturing you and you have to bear. It doesn't mean that. But how many of you, my husband is like this, my daughter-in-law is like that, my son-in-law is like that, how many of you will think that it is for our purification wholeheartedly? But when you are thinking, you are progressing in your spiritual life, Prabhuji and Mataji. Believe me, I didn't used to believe 5 years back, but that is true. That is true. If you are really bearing that, that is called purification. Any questions in this regard? Purification.
What I have observed is that if you don't realize, like this is now, if you don't realize, then the same kind of thing will again repeat.
Yes.
So similar situation or similar circumstances will come to bother you in some form or the other.
Yes.
But similar things will come to you because you have not realized or you have not actually learned from it.
Yes. And believe me, Prabhuji and Mataji, it might be, as I am saying, it is practically true also. But if I tell the same thing outside people who are not inclined to spirituality or God, and they might say, but it is true. If you are not in a situation to accept the current situation you are in and you retaliate, then you are bound to be in the same situation in one or the other instance, for sure. Krishna is trying to remove that particular resistance in you through that event. And that is 100% true. In my own personal life, and when we sincerely pray for Krishna, pray to Krishna to think about it, then he, not normally, he will, poke like a screwdriver, where it is paining more, there only he will disturb. Pundu ekkadaithe unte akkada ruddite inka pain estha leda, right? So that purification word is very important. Purification. It is not only about blood relation, even in our company also. What are the boss you are getting? I have a very bad boss and all. Are there no people who are good with that boss? Right? They are good with the boss. And if they are good with the boss, why can't you? But there is something which is not stopping. See, there might be some reasons where really genuinely the boss is bad, but it is a professional commitment that you need to be acclimatized with any environment, especially in the IT. For example, I am working in TCS. I have put papers 2 months back, and I am going to join a new company next month. But I don't have any grudge towards my bosses, because there is another reason why I am quitting. They all are in touch with me. In fact, my boss only asking, "Naaku kon chodra babu." Because see, we need to understand that in whatever boss-associate relationship, father-son relationship, husband-wife relationship, in-laws and daughter-in-law relationship, son-in-law and father relationship, there might be ruptures, but that are the scenarios for their respective purifications. This is a very tough pill to swallow, but that is reality. When you are acclimatized to that environment, you got purified. The same statement you can take it negatively also. Ante enta maaku enta anyayam jarigina memu anichi vedaku loan avvalsindena. One Mataji I called, I don't know whether he is here or not, but I called Mataji and asked for Bhagavatam set. Mataji, please check with Prabhuji and tell me, I told. Then immediately, why I have to ask Prabhuji? I can take my own decisions in my house. Then she felt bad. In Vihanga only. I don't know whether she is there or not. I'm sorry. But but my intention was not to rupture. I generally gave an example. Mataji, it's not only about Srimad Bhagavatam, Mataji, but in your house also you might be taking some TV or some important decision which is costing some, you discuss internally in the family, right? So with that intent only I told, it's not that Prabhuji is high and Mataji is low. Like that I have to give around half an hour session again. The call was only for 5 minutes, but I have given 30 minutes session for that Mataji in Vihanga only. So we need to understand all the situation. If any relations, it's for our purification. Krishna has put into that situation means that is for our purification only. నేను డైవర్స్ తీసుకుంటా, నాకు నచ్చకపోతే నేను డైవర్స్ తీసుకుంటా. No. Divorce was not there, the concept earlier in our, as per our Sanatan Dharma or our culture, there was never a divorce culture was not there. Okay. So this is about the work in Nishkama Karma, and so whatever the result when we are giving back to, relating it to Krishna or the Lord, you are a perfect Karma Yogi. So what are the actions you are doing? Now coming to the same Buddhi Yoga, detached work without reactions, so far I have given any analytical description of the body and soul. O son of Pruta, that is Arjuna, now hear about Buddhi Yoga. When you engage, Shanti, okay, so when you engage your intelligence in this yoga, you will become free from the bondage of work. So whatever the detachment, even one is, okay, pay rapt attention here. Some people are attached to the process. ఏమండి నేను కృష్ణుడికి సేవ చేస్తాను, కానీ నేను ప్రసాదమే వండుతా, నా ప్రసాదమే వచ్చు. So they get attached to the process only, and there are some people who get attached to the result, final result. Try to understand the difference between getting attached to the process and getting attached to the result. Am I clear, Prabhuji and Madhajis? It is little important here. Getting attached to the process and getting attached to the result. Now in the second part here is getting detached, work without reaction. So you do the work, don't get attached to the process, and also don't get attached to the result also. Everything you give it to Lord, everything you offer it to the Lord. That's what Krishna is talking about. So detach the work without reaction is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga, or it is called Buddhi Yoga also. So with intelligence, not getting attached to the fruits, you will go beyond this material world. This is the case where you, with your intelligence only. With your intelligence you can get detached to the results also. That's what Krishna is talking about. So spiritual credit never, do you know spiritual credit never ceases? When I say, last time when we have seen, right, when you do good work, it's a good karma balance, right? When you do negative work, it is a negative karma balance. But there is another third account that is called akarma, that is spiritual account. Spiritual account never ceases, that is never decreases, it always increases or stable. General parlance, people know only about good karma and bad karma, but this is a spiritual karma, it is akarma, which is nothing but any activity which you do by keeping Krishna in the center. Any questions, Prabhujis and Madhajis? Please. Our goal should be to please the Lord and internal purifications, and not enjoying the result. That we need to understand. A farmer is there, he always pray to the Lord to give a good crop. He prays and he does his work, and he leaves to the Lord. Similarly, bank employee, whatever the amount he gets, bank employee, that whatever money he is dispatching to the customers is not his money, right? It is God's money. It is the bank's money. Bank's money which he is dispatching it to but he can't say that I am the person who is owning the money, right? So something like that. Okay. So this is no loss in this yoga at all. So this particular scenario, there is no loss at all, he is saying. So no loss in this particular detached work without reaction, because you are not owning either the process or the results. Everything you are offering it to the Lord. So Vyavasayatmika intelligence and Vedic karma kanda. So intelligence one pointed or versus many branched. So the unintelligent followers of Vedas attached to the flowery words Pushpitam Vacham. So who are unintelligent, they are attached to the flowery words or desirous of sense enjoyment. So they are only situated at the material plane where they are seeking enjoyment from the senses what they are getting. Ba vinna పాటలు బా ఏం పాటరా బాబు రక్కసక్క ఏం పాటరా బాబు చెవులు తిండి బయట రెస్టారెంట్లో తింటే ఎంత బాగుంటుంది. సో లైక్ దిస్ we should raise above from that platform. Link when one is attached to the bhoga and aishwarya, he cannot have one pointed intelligence. Obstacles for one pointed intelligence. In the interest of time, how to practice nishkama karma yoga, dutiful work with detachment to the results. Do your work. I mean, do hard work. A student is there. What is the duty of a student? Our education is the priority. He has to learn or read, write and practice for the exam and do his best and then leave the result to the God. Is it a complicated statement? Prabhuji, you are telling it is fine only, but practically it is not possible. Is it not practically possible? You do your best till the last point. You do your best. But I have seen kids, after writing the exam, అరే నేను సరిగ్గా ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వలేదు, నేను సరిగ్గా రాయలేకపోయాను, అదేదో ముందు చూసుకోవాలి కదా. Lot of people. It is not a something very high knowledge, Prabhuji and Mataji. It is something which it is practically applicable. Do your best till that point and rest leave to the Krishna, whatever the result it is. Okay. Hanuman is the example. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so these are the same points we are trying to discuss. So with the interest of time, I am first level of detachment. It's already discussed. In turn, the basic point here we need to understand is whatever the results when we are giving or offering to please the Lord, main point we need to understand is we are impressing the Lord with our act, and also we are our internal purification is happening. So same thing. Definition of a real yoga as per translated to perform duty occupied with attachment to success or failure. Okay, same example. I don't want to dwell here. So let us learn from Hanuman dealing with the Lord of his life. Already I discussed this example. So how to perform? Reject all abominable actions. Link to Arjuna's questions in 3.1. Yeah. So no reaction. So when you do any work related to Lord, then there are no reactions to that. Because whatever the action when you are doing in the Lord's service, there are no reactions. That's what he's talking about. And there is no birth and death cycle. He will be breaking the birth and death life cycle when you are doing the service to the Lord. Indifference to Vedas, fixed intelligence and trance. So we need to have fixed intelligence and trance. So here whatever the work we are doing, we need to remember Krishna. Is it difficult? Why? But do you believe there are souls like that? They 24/7. They might be meeting with you, with people like us, but they will be thinking always Krishna, saying that whatever the discussion it's going, Krishna, please let us see. Please make it fruitful such that it will be helping so many souls to come forward to me. When you are doing a job, thanks Krishna, you have given this job to me such that I am able to serve my family members and bring them closer to Krishna, and see in your services I can help you in any manner.
Planned activities it is possible.
What is it?
Planned activities, this is very much possible. But for sudden, unplanned events.
Whatever the planned activities, why can't you bring Krishna in the center?
Yeah, that is possible.
Now unplanned activities. Like
Sudden and unplanned activities.
Like
at office. Suddenly you are given 30 minutes of time to make a presentation. So film is natural.
No. At office, You keep one Bhagavadgita and one Krishna book in the front, and before preparing PPT, take the name of Krishna. Krishna, I think I got suddenly this PPT has to be, I have to prepare it in 30 minutes. Somehow this boss has torturing me to prepare this in 30 minutes. Can you please help me that this presentation is properly going? It will be helping the company in some manner or not. I am not saying you need to utter all these dialogues. This consciousness you need to have inside. This no need to, what I am telling, but you need to have that consciousness. Krishna, somehow suddenly this work has come to me. Please help me to prepare this PPT in best of my abilities and ensure that this PPT is coming fine and it is impressing my boss and the client, such that it will help in the company's growth and eventually I can serve you better. With that consciousness, you can do right. And then it's only telling, but you need to think. You should be conscious of Krishna. I'm not saying that you need to quote this entire, what are the 5 minutes dialogue I quoted. I have to, Mahesh ji said, I have to quote, okay. Krishna, no. That consciousness should be there. There are situations, suddenly, I was not planned to be invited. One of my colleagues was supposed to go to meet client, and client have come from Australia. I think last year, and I was not scheduled to go there, and suddenly my colleague got some COVID or something he got, and my business partner told me, Mahesh, you go and take care of the visitors or clients, or you need to take them from airport and drop them there, and after that again you need to pick up and give a presentation. What the presentation is ready, you need to present to them. I think we got a slot of between 11 to 11:30. Then I didn't have a time. Krishna, please help me. See, everything is going on smoothly without any hindrances. What the presentation is there, let me present it properly, I thought, and luckily next day I presented, and in fact they offered me to call me to on-site. That they requested me to come to on-site, but I was not having an option to go to on-site because my family is here. I don't want to leave them, so I told them I can't come to on-site, but some other people are very good people are there. I suggested them. So believe me, Mataji, if you are really praying, even a job, what are the 8 to 9 hours job, with that consciousness we are doing it, he will help, Mataji. That consciousness should be there. More than my kid I need to make study, my husband I need to satisfy, Krishna please help me so that I can satisfy my husband, my kid I need to educate, and it will eventually happen, Mataji. It will eventually happen. For a tree, is there a need to pour each and every leaf one water? Only by pouring it in root, everything is taken care, right? Yes or no? For a tree, simply by pouring in root, that's enough. No need to pour water in each and every leaf and each and every flower, right? It's something like that. Okay, now Atmaram. Now, who are those people who are Sthita Prajna or Atmaram? Okay, who are those people who are Sthita Prajna and Atmaram? Yeah, that's what we are discussing. Now, it is something related to, I will tell you a story. A king was going to see the kingdom, and he wanted to test by throwing his golden ring and see how people behave. So he has thrown a ring, and one person has seen that ring and taken that ring, and he ran away. King ordered that person to catch that guy and put him in jail. Clear? Story clear till now? Now, after some more time, that king throws that golden ring once again. Then one more guy sees that golden ring, and somebody has lost the golden ring. I should not take it. It's a very bad thing to take others' golden ring, and he lives there. Pichoda, and king thinks, and he leaves him. And third time after some distance, again he throws the golden ring, and one person sees the ring. Hey, I think it looks to be a king's ring. Let me give it to king. He goes and gives to the king. So in this story, it signifies or symbolizes 3 things. One is bhogi, one is gnani, another is one is bhogi, another is tyagi, another is bhakta. Bhogi, tyagi, bhakta. Bhogi is the person who never even acknowledges whatever we got through God's mercy. Whatever, even a atheistic person who don't believes in God, whatever the knowledge, whatever the skill, whatever the things materially he got, it is also part of God. Who realizes that? How many people realizes that? They never even realize that. In turn they blame God. Hey, I don't believe in God. Those are called thieves. They not even acknowledge that you are taking the God's property. They don't even acknowledge the fact that they are taking God's property. So those are bhogis. And tyagis are the knowledgeable people, renunciate, going to Himalayas, leaving all the responsibilities and all, and they are in their own trance and they don't perform their prescribed duties. Those are tyagis. And bhaktas are the ones who acknowledges that God has provided everything and they gives back some portion to God. It's not only about money, Matajis and Prabhujis. Anything. Someone might be having a knowledge, they can propagate the knowledge. Some might be having good oratory skills, they can propagate the knowledge through their oratory skills. Some might be having good cooks, they cook wonderfully, they can offer it to the Lord and distribute prasadam to the people. Some might be good in programming, they might create an app for temples for proper tracking of devotees. Like that, you quote me, we can link that to, engage that into the God service. Okay. So Sthita Prajna, what are the qualities of a liberated soul? So that person will see everything as a living soul. He doesn't, kukka, chi, manisha, dandam, he sees each and every living entity with the same sense. That person is Sthita Prajna. So Sthita Prajna, hearing about intelligence fixed, Achala Buddhi in Samadhi, Arjuna now asks Krishna about the characteristics of such yogi who is called Sthita Prajna, one fixed with fixed intelligence. So Arjuna's question about a Sthita Prajna, Lord Krishna answers, what are his general symptoms? Arjuna is asking, what are the general symptoms of Sthita Prajna? And on receiving praise or blame, affectionate or hate, what will he say externally or internally? And how does he sit? How does he restrain his senses from the sense objects? That's Sthita Prajna. And how does he walk? Means how does he respond to that sense objects? That's Sthita Prajna. How does he behave? So general symptoms of Sthita Prajna is general symptoms of a self-realized person. He gives up all material desires of sense gratification born of mental concoction. He gives up all material desires of sense gratification born of mental concoction. Thus purified in mind, one finds satisfaction in the self alone. It doesn't mean that you need to renunciate everything and all. There are instances where I take my kids to movies also. Jumanji, Spider-Man. No, it's not that we should not think that renunciate means we should completely avoid. So the purified mind, I'm not saying that I am a Sthita Prajna here, but don't correlate with the literal meaning. The purified in mind, one finds satisfaction in the self alone. Despite he doesn't see for some center of attraction from someone. I need to be center of attraction. Someone has to praise me. He doesn't see. He finds Paramatma. He finds a perfect relation with Paramatma within himself. He is able to see Paramatma within himself. In fact, there are 3 stages, they say, realizing Paramatma. One stage is, first stage is, you feel that I am trying to know Paramatma. I am trying to know God. Second stage is, you know that God is seeing you. You realize that God is seeing you. Third stage is, you realize that God is not only seeing you, but you are also seeing God. You are able to mutually communicate. It is not something external, it is from within. And that feeling, that feeling is inexplicable. Alanti stage, manam experience cheyalam gaani, we can't explain. When you are finding relationship with the God within yourself, that is the ultimate stage. That's what a Sthita Prajna soul sees. So this, thus purified in mind, one finds satisfaction in the self alone. Other external factors are not required for satisfaction. Okay, to be satisfied in self alone, one should know of Lord's love for us, our relationship with Him, His qualities. Are we even acknowledging, Prabhujis and Madhajis, how great the Lord is that He has given a wonderful parents to me? He has given the knowledge to me through the parents. There is no need for Lord personally come and show to you. You need to acknowledge that. What a wonderful community, Vihanga or a society members, a Lord given to you. What a wonderful scenic beauty, the plants and all is there. Are you appreciating God's hand here? Do you feel my home Vihanga, my home authority, CEO Rameshwaram ji has provided this still? There is no God's hand. Do you know Rameshwaram, right? Rameshwar ji. You know or not? How many of you know who is the MD for my home? How many of you don't know? My home, all the residential communities, the owner or CEO is Rameshwar ji. Rameshwar ji. His name is Rameshwar, Mr. Rameshwar. He is the CEO, or what are the construction is being done by him only. You know that, right? Everyone know Rameshwar ji. Do you know whom he serves? He serves Chinnajir Swamiji, pure devotee of a Lord. So it is, now if you ask Rameshwar ji that who has provided all this, he will say that God has provided. But we are in impression that Rameshwar ji has provided it. So you need to realize that everything around us is provided by Lord. What is the wonderful feeling that is? When you realize 100% with complete conviction, with 100% surety that everything in your life is provided by Lord. Wonderful parents, wonderful husband, wonderful kids, wonderful environment. How that situation would be? That's what is Chitta Prajna. His qualities that especially benefit his devotees. Benefits of connecting our activities to Krishna and offering our fruits to Krishna. He is special. To be satisfied self alone, one should know of Lord's love for him, our relationship with him. So though Lord is not partial to anyone, but he specially favors his devotees. అంతే కదా. ఈజ్ ఇట్ నాట్ రైట్ విత్ ఆల్స్ పేరెంట్స్? మనకి 2-3 పిల్లలు ఉన్నారనుకోండి, ఎంతైనా కొద్ది గొప్ప ఫర్ వన్ పర్టికులర్ కిడ్, అరే వీడు బాగా మంచి మాట వింటున్నాడంటే దిర్ ఇస్ స్పెషల్ స్పెషల్ inclination would be there for one among the kids, right? Of course, now in this current society, we hardly have one kid family only, or at the max 2. Earlier, there used to be 3, 4, 10 kids also sometimes, but we need to understand, even in our material calculations also, we have partiality towards one kid. My grandmother is there, my dad and my chinnana. My grandma prefers my dad or my chinnana or my uncle. Uncle hates for that you always likes Anna only, you don't like me. So even in our material calculations itself, it's like that. So like that, God also has a little bit. It doesn't mean that he is impartial. He is partial. The thing is, he likes his devotees more. His devotees more. It is 100. It's not at that 5,000 years back. Even now also, Lord likes his devotees more. Now it's our duty whether to become a devotee or not. If you are not a devotee, you know what will be programmed. But still, in that case also, he provides opportunity for you to realize and know him better. His compassionate glance upon his devotees. Especially, he is very compassionate with his devotees. With non-devotees, whether he will care or not, that's a different thing. But with pure devotees, he takes a special care. Special care. Don't think only materially. నాకు డివోటీ అయితే నాకు డబ్బులు వాగేసి వస్తా, సరే కృష్ణ నీకు ప్రే చేస్తా రోజు, నాకు ₹1 కోటి 2 కోట్లు కొంచెం ఉండేటట్టు చూడు. ఇట్స్ నాట్ దట్. హీ నోస్ వాట్ ఈస్ బెటర్ ఫర్ యూ. నిజంగా అలాంటి స్థితి వస్తే 1 or 2 crores ఆల్సో హీ విల్ గివ్ యూ. కానీ కృష్ణకి ఇది కూడా తెలుసు, 1 or 2 crores నీకు ఇస్తే కన్నా నువ్వు ఎలా వాటిని దొబ్బిస్తావో కూడా తెలుసు. అందుకని ఇవ్వడు. ఐఎమ్ సారీ. బట్ ద థింగ్స్ ఈజ్, కృష్ణ నోస్ వాట్ ఈస్ బెటర్ ఫర్ యూ. హీ నోస్. దట్స్ వై హీ గివ్స్ that much only. He will give only after completely purifying you. Because ఆయన ఒకసారి ఇచ్చాడంటే, ఆయన భగవాన్ జబ్ దేతా హై చప్పర్ పాడికి దేతే అంటారు కదా, ఆ చప్పర్ పాడికి యూ విల్ నాట్ హ్యావ్ హ్యాండ్స్ టు కలెక్ట్ ఆల్సో. దట్ ఈస్ హిస్ మెర్సీ. డోంట్ ఓన్లీ థింక్ అబౌట్ మెటీరియల్లీ, బట్ ఆల్సో స్పిరిచువల్లీ ఆల్సో హీ నోస్ వీడికి ఇది మంచిది కాదు, కాబట్టి వీడికి ఏది మంచిదో కృష్ణుడికి తెలుసు, అండ్ హీ నోస్ అబౌట్ ద డివోటీస్ మోర్. సో కృష్ణ టేక్స్ పర్సనల్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఇన్ హిస్ డివోటీస్ లైఫ్. He takes personal interest in devotees' life, and I have seen it personally, Mataji. Believe me. No, it's not that I am that devotee. I am not a devotee. I am trying to be a devotee. I have seen devotees in this current society. Not when I say current society, in our India, there are so many devotees in the society where Krishna is personally taking care of them. Personally taking care of them. I have seen my Shiksha Guru. I have seen my Shiksha Guru who stays right in front of your apartment, my home Krishi. I have seen a lot of devotees like that, the more you serve Krishna, He gives, no doubt about it. I used to have a little bit doubt in my earlier years, but that doubt is no more there now. 100%. Okay, I think these are Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. So these are all the scriptural proofs where it shows that how a Sthita Prajna have to behave and all. So he is also glorifying the Lord. So benefits of connecting all our activities with Lord service. So Prahlad is protected by Lord Vishnu. So there are a lot of things explained here. Freedom comes by connecting our activities with Lord service. Lord Krishna explains that by acting in this way, one will be freed from the bondage to work and results, both of them. More than that, one will become liberated. More than that, one will come to Krishna. Krishna's special favor, his devotees. So that's what he is talking about. Krishna's compassionate glance upon his devotees. I don't want to dwell much here because it's already proven in Sri. I have been requesting everyone to take Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam there are a lot of pastimes of devotees where he has taken personal care of his devotees. Prabhuji's and Mataji's. Bhagavadgita is a process manual. I think already mentioned you. It's a process manual. And you will believe that those process manuals only when you see devotees who are following the processes. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the stories of all the devotees who have followed that processes. Such that when we follow process, when we see someone is following the process. So that's the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Second question, how does he speak? How does Sthita Prajna speak? How does his intelligent and words respond to affection and anger and neutrality? Equipoised in happiness and distress. Abba, material happiness vachindi, hurray, I got it! Ane egaradu. అలానే బాధ వస్తే కృంగిపోడు. ఇంత యథాత విధి నాకు ఇంత జరిగిందా అని బాధపడ్డాం. And I think we are lucky enough to see that kind of personalities in the society. If you carefully observe your fathers or grandfathers or in your own close people, they won't much react. If they are getting some material benefits or material loss also, they won't much react. I have seen personally. Not only in devotional service, but even in non-devotional service, you might be seeing such kind of people. They won't equipoised in all the situations, whether happy or distress. Have you seen or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? ఏంటి మాటలు రావట్లేదు? అప్పుడే ఆకలి స్టార్ట్ అయిందా? Yes or no? Yes. Is it a good thing to be in that place or not? Is it a good thing to be Sthita Prajna or not? Peaceful or not? But are we ready to face that kind of situations? You need to introspect ourselves. నిజంగా అలాంటి డిస్ట్రెస్ వస్తే తట్టుకునే పరిస్థితి మనకు ఉందా? We need to think. We need to aspire. If we are not, at least we need to aspire for that. Because we need to, when we are relating to God, when we are trying ourselves to, Prabhuji, when we are relating ourselves to the God, this material connections and all, we should accept as a duty we need to do, not as a too much attachment. Because at one point or the other, either one of them will leave you. But God is the only one who stays always with you. Always. But we are not realizing. Okay? So equipoised in happiness and distress. Second one is free from attachment, fear and anger, because unaffected by good and evil and firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. What is the perfect knowledge? Krishna is the ultimate and he will protect me, and complete faith, whatever he is doing, it is for my good only. Believe me, Prabhuji and Mataji, once you are in devotional service and you start chanting, you will feel with 100% conviction without fail the Krishna's plan for you. మీరు గీన చాంటింగ్ చేస్తే దట్ విల్ విత్ కంప్లీట్ ఫెయిత్, మనం నోట్లు లెక్కెట్టేటప్పుడు ఎంత కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ ఉంటుంది? హ్యావ్ యూ సీన్ వెన్ వీఆర్ కౌంటింగ్ నోట్స్ దెర్ ఇస్ సింగిల్ పాయింటెడ్, అప్పుడే డిటర్మినేషన్కి మారుపోయిన మనిషి లాగా మనం బిహేవ్ చేస్తాం. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? నోట్ లెక్కేటప్పుడు వేరే ఏ థాట్స్ అని వస్తాయా? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 9 రైట్? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? అదే ఫెయిత్తో, అదే డిటర్మినేషన్తో కెన్ యూ చాంట్ హరే కృష్ణ 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 హరే హరే, హరే రామ 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 హరే హరే. వాట్ ఎవర్ ద 15 to 20 seconds I took for chanting this, can you keep your concentration and faith completely at the Lord's feet? These are the practical tips, Prabhuji and Mataji. It's nothing, something, sapna nahi hai. It's not nothing unachievable. Okay, when you chant with the perfect this thing, you will get a perfect realization. Without conviction, you will, whatever I said, you will realize practically also. And in our own community, luckily we have Sanjay Prabhu, Sunil Prabhu. There are a lot of devotees who do chanting 16 rounds every day. Actually, I took just one Maha Mantra. Like that, if you do 108 rounds of Maha Mantra, that is one round. That is one round. This is the chanting beat, and this is the mala what we have. It has 108 beats. Like that, each and every Maha Mantra, one beat is gone, moved ahead, and like that 108 times when you do, that is one round. Like that 16 rounds. We in devotional service, we do 16 rounds every day. That is the minimum. In Ekadasi day we do more. In Ekadasi day we do more. Okay, so these 16 rounds, it will be taking around 1.5 to 2 hours time. 1.5 to 2 hours time every day we do. With our activities or whatever the professional duties or family duties, we do it. So chanting is very important, because this yuga dharma of this yuga, Kali Yuga dharma is chanting of holy names. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, now importance of the word. Shanti, వీళ్ళందరినీ పిల్లల్ని వెనక్కి తీసుకెళ్ళవా? రాణి మాక ప్లీజ్, వాక ప్లీజ్ టేక్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ ద కిడ్స్ ప్లీజ్. Okay, importance of the word symptom. There are symptoms of a rich man, deceased man, learned man. Similarly, symptoms of a self-realized soul are also addressed here. Am I right? Each and every learned man, deceased, some symptoms would be there, right? Similarly, there would be symptoms for the Sthita Prajna also. Most Shanti, పిల్లల్ని రానివద్దమ్మా, రానివద్దు ప్లీజ్. Most important symptom is how he speaks. Speech is the most important quality of any man. Actually, there is a Telugu, there is one saying. ఏంటంటే మాట దాటితే పెన్న దాటినట్టు. ఏంటి ప్రభు సామెత? మాట దాటితే పెన్న దాటినట్టేనా? యూ రిమెంబర్ వెరీ ఫేమస్. మాట దాటితే పెన్న దాటియాలి, మాట దాటితే పెన్న దాటినట్టే. మీన్స్ వన్స్ ద వర్డ్ ఈజ్ రిలీజ్ ఫ్రమ్ యువర్ మౌత్, ఇట్ ఈస్ సిమిలర్ టు river is the gates for the river is open. You can't stop. Once anything negative you utter, you can't take that word back. So that's the power of speech. So speech is the most important quality of a man, and by the speech of a person you will know. If you speak to a person for 2 to 3 minutes, you will mostly understand ఎలాంటి క్యాండిడేట్ రా బాబు ఇతను అనేది అర్థమైపోతుంది మనకు జనరల్గా స్పీచ్ మాట్లాడితే. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద స్పీచ్ ఈస్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వాలిటీ ఆఫ్ ఎనీ మ్యాన్. సో ఇమీడియట్ సిమ్టమ్ ఆఫ్ ఎ కృష్ణ కాన్షియస్ మ్యాన్, హీ స్పీక్స్ ఓన్లీ ఆఫ్ కృష్ణ ఆర్ ఆఫ్ మ్యాటర్స్ రిలేటింగ్ టు హిమ్. Yesterday we were discussing funny incident. Prabhuji, book distribution, how we need to do అనే దాని మీద ఎలానో nobody is taking books, how we need to do how we need to do scriptures distribution to the society. Prabhuji, we will do one action. We will do action. Our devotees will be there at the table, and there will be 10 to 15 devotees trying to act like fighting for a book. And immediately I will come. One person will be coming, and what is happening? No, stop aside. We wanted to take Bhagavadgita. Go aside. Like that, we will do some enact a scene in front of in-orbit mall. Then people will be seeing us with a curiosity. What is happening? It's a funny incident. Okay? We were discussing how to distribute books, how to attract people towards scriptures. Though we are thinking funnily, but we are discussing about Krishna only, right? How to propagate the knowledge of Krishna to others. We on the another day we performed a skit. I think I have shared in the group. Myself and my kids, we did a skit drama. We have shooted 1 year back. What kind of distraction we get when we do chanting? One drama, myself, my kid, and my kid's friend, and my son also. We 4 of us did the drama, and my missus was shooted that video. So I have posted 1 year back. I don't know how many of you have seen it, right? Yeah. So like that, it's not that I am a devotee, I am trying to be a devotee, but we need to see in each and every situation how we can relate it with God. Yesterday I went to ISKCON Abits for giving a session to some brahmacharis. So, each and everything we need to, whatever activity we do, we need to link with Krishna. It might be funny, nothing that devotee means always serious. No, ఒక స్మైల్ లేదు, పాడలేదు, మూల కూర్చొని జపం చేసుకుంటారా, అది కాదు. డివోటీ మీన్స్ విత్ ఫుల్ ఎనర్జీ. Our Shiksha Guru, I don't know, most of you might not have met, he is working as a finance head in Loran IT. And he is taking care of cows in his Goshala, Vaishnav Seva Kunj. He takes care of, preaching sessions for all of us in colleges. I also go give lectures in colleges like JNTU, Kukatpalli and all. Sometimes he gives us service for us in the temple. Sometimes for Jagannath Radhyatra happened in Hyderabad, our Gachipuri team was responsible for distributing prasadam. Our Shruti Mataji was also there in that. She has come for 1 hour, I think. Okay, so he engages us in activity. He does all these activities and Srimad Bhagavatam distribution. Somehow our Shiksha Guru has given a target of 365 Srimad Bhagavatams have to be distributed this year at any cost. That target he has given to us. So luckily we reached a target of 272, and still I think 90 targets we need to achieve. Eventually we will achieve in 1 month time. So 365 target he has given to us. So somehow we are busy. Last 2-3 days I have been calling devotees, take Srimad Bhagavatam, please and all. Some devotees say, last year I donated, Prabhuji, this year I can't donate. So Krishna blesses. Last year I blessed, no, this year I will not bless. Will you agree? We are not snatching, right? We are having a relatively in a good situation. So, like that, if somebody is not giving, we should not be hateful of. What Krishna sees, our attempt he sees. There is nothing wrong, right? If someone is not giving, am I cursing them? We are not cursing, right? It's our attempt that Krishna sees. If someone is not taking, that's okay. But we should think about it. We always have fun. We yatras. I don't know how many of you have enjoyed the fun of being in yatra. People feel that only if we go to Goa, Kodaikanal, this thing, that thing, then only it's actual enjoyment. But go to yatra with devotees. Potta chakkal avutadi. Telugu means your stomach will blast. We enjoy a lot. Govardhan-giri, we encourage. Sometimes, how many of you have gone to Ahobilam? Anyone have gone to Ahobilam? Ahobilam veluntaru gaani ఆ పర్వతం ఎక్కుంటారు. అదేంటి దాని పేరు, ఉగ్రస్తంభం ఎక్కారా? ఎక్కలేదు. జనరల్గా అంటే ఇట్స్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్ ఫర్ ఓల్డ్ పీపుల్ టు గెట్ ఆన్, బికాస్ ఆ కొండ స్టీప్ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. ఇలా స్టీప్ ఉంటుంది. సో ఓన్లీ వి ఫ్యామిలీస్ ఆఫ్ అరౌండ్ 50 families we went, and Mataji, they didn't know that this is this much steep. So they came to a position and they can't even go back. They can't even go back, and and that is a situation where they were getting demotivated. Then I was encouraging each one of them. Lavanya Mataji ki jai, Giriraj Prabhu ki jai. Like that, I was encouraging each and every devotee to go to get on top of the Ugrastambha. And Ugrastambha, you need to visit once. So with that yatras we spent for 3 to 4 days with the devotees, night doing kirtan, night dances, eating prasadam, going early morning and visiting the temples. What a wonderful this thing. Kids will be having, they will be spending time with the kids. So all kids also went on top of Ugrastambha. You visit that, one of the wonderful spot. We, myself and Shanti, both of us, we took one round of, literally it is the top of the mountain actually. Top of the mountain, there is no place. If you take one step, that's it will fall. That much, condensed it would be. So going to yatras with a devotee, so you need to see, he speaks only of Krishna, or more matters of relating to him. And we missed actually one of the devotees in our Bhagavadgita group, our own group, sent one video of, in Ahobilam, one cow is there where first it comes to the temple and takes the prasadam, then only it is distributed to the devotees. But somehow I didn't know when I went to Ahobilam. So then I got a desire of going to Ahobilam once again to see that scene. One specific temple is there in Ahobilam, where every day morning that Gomata comes and after offering the prasadam to the Lord, first it comes into the temple and eats prasadam, and then the other prasadam is distributed to the devotees. That was a wonderful video I have seen some 3 to 4 days back. One of our devotees went. So somehow I missed to see that when I went to Ahobilam. This time I will go once again. And so we should be inclined to yatras. So test of a yogi, self-reliance, he is able to control senses according to his plan. Okay, tortoise and devotee, as I mentioned last time. Tortoise, devotee knows. See, as a grihastha, we need to spend a lot of professional time, and we need to spend a lot of time with material people also. So we need to understand, as a professional duty, we need to perform. Once that duty is over, like a tortoise, we need to bring all our senses inside. And whatever the part professionally, what we need to do, we will do. That's it. So అంటున్నట్టు ఉండాలి. ఎంతవరకు పని ఉందో అంతవరకు చేసి ఇమీడియట్గా మనం కృష్ణ ధ్యానంలో ఉండాలి. That's what is being talked about. Tortoise and devotee. So the same is compared with withdraw senses like a tortoise. That's a Sthita Prajna. Even the devotees like Srila Prabhupada, Ramanujacharya, or Chinnajiyar Swamiji, he not only spends time with God always. He also meets with politicians. He also meets with the businessmen. But he knows how much to talk, how much to spend. That's it. Again come back. Okay, so how one in Krishna conscious is equipoised. He accepts everything, happiness or distress or distress as Krishna's mercy only. Free from attachment, fear and anger. He is always daring and active and fixed on the service of the Lord. He does not come under attachment or aversion. He never gets angry whether successful or not. He is steady in determination. He never gets angry unnecessarily. There are some cases where he gets angry, but only for the service of the Lord. Sometimes devotees, to perform some of the service, he might be using strict words for engaging his disciples in the service of the Lord. Third question, how does he sit? So how does he sit? How he restrains his senses and mentality. He uses his senses only for Krishna's service. Based on higher taste, he can control his senses. Tortoise and devotee implies to keep senses always in service of Lord and withdraw the senses when not required. That's Sthita Prajna. The secret of sense control. Developing higher taste is a secret of success. So experiencing high taste. Even whatever the taste, even if you want to eat outside, he goes to the restaurants where he eats only the offered food. I mean, there are luckily some restaurants or hotels which are there who offers to the Lord and then gives to the customers. Like Govindas is there. Like that, one or two hotels are there luckily in Hyderabad where only the offered food is given to the customers. Restraining is difficult because taste of sense objects still remain. Restriction of diseased patient from some food item, patient still has taste for it. So controlling senses forcibly is not good. Try to understand one thing, that senses are more powerful than us. No doubt about it. First acknowledge that senses are more powerful than us. So instead of using it in a wrong way, we should engage our senses. Now see, our Shishya Guru has engaged in the last 1 week. I'm not even having time to. Last 1 week has been a complete Krishna conscious activity for us. Non-stop 3 to 4 days I have been calling devotees, my friends, to take Srimad Bhagavatam. Yesterday morning we were into a devotees family called us for a Gro Pravesam, and yesterday afternoon I was having a Bhakti Shastri final exam. Yesterday evening I was in ISKCON Habits giving a session to some bachelors, and today morning again I came here. So our Leela Prabhu has engaged completely. There is no time for Maya to attack us. Okay, so that's what restrictions are only good in neophyte stage. Early stage, who is trying to be in devotional service, some restriction is fine, but completely with your own power I will control senses, it is not possible. Sages like Vishwamitra, they have fallen. What are we? So we should engage our service, our senses in a right way. And if you don't know practically how to do it, you need to approach the devotees whom you think can help you. Guru, what is the time? Okay, I think it's time now. I won't take more than 5 minutes. So these are the basic qualities of sense control. Even the wise are distracted. Importance of developing higher taste in Krishna consciousness. So I think all are covered here. All are examples given here. So I'm not going through them. How does he walk? How does he engage? I think already I have explained it. How a Krishna conscious person transcends all attachments and aversion. How, on what strength does a devotee achieve this exalted portion? I think already we have discussed. Result of achieving the Lord's mercy: complete satisfaction of senses and consciousness. Threefold miseries exist no longer. Intelligence is soon well established. What takes place when one lacks satisfaction in Krishna consciousness? No happiness and peace by lack of Krishna consciousness. Already we have discussed practical application. These are all practical application. Without Krishna consciousness, there is no peace. What happens if senses are not regulated by? These are different examples. You can go through the link if you want. I will be sharing it in YouTube. But more or less all are covered. Theme Krishna gives an analogy. Two classes of intelligent one. I think already it is covered. Krishna conscious person is full because of the Lord fulfills all his material necessity. Therefore, he is always full like the ocean. Proof of Krishna conscious man. Okay, you can go through them. I think more or less we have discussed. Once one thus situated as explained till now, at the time of death enter the kingdom of the God. Thus Krishna glorifies the position of Srita Prajna. That is the way of spiritual and godly life. After attaining this, one is not bewildered. Okay? Yeah. So this is how it is. Now we need to understand, Mataji's, what are the things we have discussed. There might be some things which you feel and you might not be opening up outside. ప్రభుజీ మీరు చెప్పేది బాగానే ఉంది కానీ ఇవన్నీ అడిగితే అందరి ముందు అడగడానికి మొహమాటంగా ఉంది, ఇవి ప్రాక్టికలీ పాసిబుల్ కాదేమో అనే ఒక చిన్న సంకోచం ఉంది. ఐ హ్యావ్ లిటరలీ సమ్ డౌట్, బట్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ హౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ ప్రాక్టికలీ ఇంప్లిమెంటెడ్ అనే డౌట్ మనకు ఉండొచ్చు. బట్ వీ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ అండ్ షూర్లీ సీక్ ద బ్లెస్సింగ్స్ ఆఫ్ గురు. నౌ ఎస్పెషల్లీ స్పిరిచువల్ టాపిక్స్ there are 3 criterias for having a spiritual understanding. First of all, you should be very inquisitive for knowing something. Yet if I am not knowing this answer, I am not going to move anywhere. Annanta inquisitiveness undatam oka criteria. Second criteria, you should have a respect towards the person from whom you are seeking the answers. Third is, you should be thankful to Lord Krishna that he has brought in all of you together to discuss the spiritual topics. These are the 3 criteria as per scriptures for knowing the spiritual subjects. So with this we end the chapter 2, but it is a very contemplative subject to discuss upon, and you need to really introspect and think whether they are practically possible to implement or not. And if you have any questions, please post it in the group itself, or if it is too personal, there are some 2 personal topics which Prabhuji and Matajis have been pinging me, which I have been trying to clarify. But try to understand, we should not, spiritual topics, you should be very clear with it. I can give along with the scriptural references also, if you feel so. But don't stop asking questions. Okay? Any questions? With this we end chapter 2. Anyone has any questions? No? I think it's high time for prasadam. Okay.
So in the chapter 2, as it is said, like it is Gita summarized.
Yeah.
So and you talk about many things or qualities and so that we should have, right? But then how to do it? How to do it? Will that get covered later?